in the tunnel. The atmosphere is building. We are with you in Sports Sound right through until 7 o'clock this evening. Some huge games to come this afternoon, but we kick off at Ibrox. It's Rangers against Celtic with Kenny Miller, John Hughes and Liam McLeod.
It's a glorious day here in Glasgow, south of the River Clyde. Bright blue skies, the sun shining down on what looks like a marvellous playing surface as the two sets of players make their way onto the pitch. Down below us, we're in the main stand, just above the Celtic dugout, where Ange Postecoglou stands, hands in pockets in front of. He's been out for a few minutes, in fact, taking in the bear pit that surrounds him and his players today. Not a single Celtic supporter has paid to get into this game. Of course, it was the same at Celtic Park in the most recent league game there, which Celtic emerged from 3-2, but it was the draw here on January the 2nd that made such a difference to the Michael Beale era Rangers as they tried to cling on to the Celtic coattails. 2-1 up they were, going into the 87th minute here in the first game of 2023, but Kyogo was there, one of his 30 goals. It was utterly priceless, and it just kept Rangers at arm's length. And eventually Celtic raced away, and last Sunday sealed title number 53. Just two behind Rangers now in that count. They're looking to go ahead of them in the treble count as well when they face Inverness in the Scottish Cup final 3 weeks today. The two captains and the mascots and the referee just getting the photographs taken pre-match. The Rangers line up for this one, two changes from last week. Suter and Jack in for Davis and Hadji, McCrory in goal, Tavernier, Goldson, Suter, Yilmaz, Lundstrom, Jack, Raskan, Cantwell, Sakala and Matondo. For Celtic there are three changes. Bernabei, Abada come in, Taylor, Kyogo, Maida out, Hart in goal, Ralston, Starfelt, Kobayashi, Bernabei. Three of that Celtic defence wouldn't be their first choice. That might be something for Rangers to cling on to. O'Reilly, McGregor, Hatate, Abada and Jota up there with Ohyun-Gu, who starts ahead of Kyogo, he and Greg Taylor, and Maida on the bench as Callum McGregor leads the Celtic huddle off to our left. No Celtic fans to cheer it as it breaks any second now to Callum McGregor. You can see the fist gesticulating there as he G's his teammates up. They break away from that now, and we're just about ready for the final Rangers-Celtic game of the 22-23 season. Stephen McLean, the man in the middle, just about to get things underway. Celtic will take kick-off with Matt O'Reilly in just a moment. They'll go left to right, attacking the Copeland Road end in the green and white hoop shirts, white shorts, green and white socks. And the game is underway in the sunshine. Rangers in the blue jerseys, white shorts, black socks with the red tops. As it's knocked out to Hatate, he loses out over on the far side, and it's picked up by Sakala midway inside the Celtic half. He runs it back down the line. Tavernier with the first time chip ball forward. Carl Starfelt with a diving header out to Kobayashi. Had a difficult first half, in particular at Tynecastle last week, as Rangers looked to press early on here, and it's a good challenge which wins it back, and Lundstrom to Raskan, and now it's Jack, decides to shoot, blocked by Starfelt, picked up here by Raskan, trying to firing out to Yilmaz level with a penalty spot as Ralston knocks it back off the turf. Then he does likewise off Anthony Ralston, and out for a Rangers throw.
Yeah, miss early on, you can see the intent of Rangers right on the front foot, pressing high and getting after Celtic.
They want to make a statement today, Kenny, won't they, against the back-to-back champions?
Yeah, they need to. They're in front of their 52,000 fans. They need to start fast. They need to be aggressive, and they've done that. It's
a little chip ball which Starfelt gets onto with Matondo lurking in behind him. Nodded header out to Ralston on the near side, and infield it goes to the metronome of the Celtic team, their captain Callum McGregor. Chip ball out to the far side with Kobayashi given straight to Lundstrom, but his ball goes out, and that will be a Celtic throw over on the far side. A minute and a half into the match, it's taken by Bernabei, who finds Kobayashi, and now it's with Starfelt, who rolls it to his right for Ralston. Ralston up the line here for Matt O'Reilly, on towards Abada. That's a pure ball, and it's out for a throw into Rangers on the near side. The one thing, John, I would say Celtic have been pretty sloppy in recent weeks. They've had more than enough, though, to get into the Scottish Cup final, to win the title at Tynecastle last week, but they've not been at their best.
No, but it's job, as you say, Liam, it's job done, and what they're going to have to do here is stand up to this for the first 20 minutes, keep that clean sheet.
Sakala bumping Kobayashi and winning the throw-in off the Japanese defender over on the far side, so at level with the 6-yard line's been taken a lot further back than that as Tavernier finds Sakala and in towards Matondo, who heads it into the ground and wide of the near post, and that will be a goal kick to Celtic, almost 2.5 in, goalless.
I'm just trying to work out Rangers' shape here. Cantwell's in on McGregor, and I'm just trying to see who's playing wide right.
Listen, they're playing 2 up front. It's the way they've done it. This is what I was kind of talking about. They're going to go to a 4-3-3, but they've got Matondo and Sakala as 2 forwards, and effectively it's a midfield 4. Cantwell will have a freer role than the other 3, obviously, because they're a wee bit more disciplined, but they're definitely going up with that front 2, Matondo and Sakala.
Celtic have only lost 1 of the last 9 meetings between these two. It was in the Scottish Cup semis last season. In good form in this fixture as Ruud van Yilmaz comes down the left of the Celtic box, across the meetings, Ralston, and out for a Rangers throw in. 3 minutes in, it's been a really good start by the hosts, though, as they try and make some kind of statement against this rampant Celtic side that's unbeaten domestically since last September, and that defeat along the motorway from here in Paisley, as it goes back into the Rangers half for Cantwell, who got the winner against Aberdeen here last Sunday. It's now with Jack, back to Cantwell, first time out wide left for Ruud van Yilmaz, level with the penalty spot, taking on Ralston, getting to the byline, crossing it in off the head of Starfelt, and it's outside of the danger area. Cantwell trying to keep it alive. It's back with Raskan, who finds Goldson in the centre circle, and he dinks it out to Lundstrom over on that right hand side. Of course, Celtic took the lead in this game on the 2nd of January with Daisen Maeda scoring early on. Rangers turn it round to lead 2-1 before Kyogo's late heroics as Cantwell picks up, moving towards the Celtic box. Square ball along the grass to Van Yilmaz. His cross is poor, bounces off the first man, Lee Labada, who's back after injury from the start anyway. There's Cantwell from Raskan down the left hand side. Ruud van Yilmaz, loads of time to pick it across, and it comes too high for Tavernier, picked up by Sakala though, marshalled well by Bernabei though, and Jota is able to get it clear up towards for Shooter beats him in the jump of the head, and now it's with Raskan. Lundstrom back into the centre circle for Goldson, he flicks it to the left of it for Jack. Side football forward to Cantwell, who then ushers it out. Really good pass out to Sakala, level with the 18-yard line. Sakala attacking the Celtic box, pulls it back to John Lundstrom, who shoots, beaten away by Hart. Cantwell on the rebound, and Todd Cantwell scores. What a good start it's been by Rangers, and that's a really well taken goal by Cantwell on the follow-up. He was alive to it after Hart beat the initial attempt away, and inside 5 minutes Rangers lead against the back-to-back champions. Rangers 1, Celtic 0.
And you can't say it's no deserved, Liam, that's for sure. There's been absolute, the game's played right in front of us in the Celtic half. Great patience, Lundstrom's been creeping forward, and it's a good shot, good save for Joe Hart. But Cantwell again, he's just found his scoring touch over the last couple of weeks, and it's not the easiest to finish. He needs to keep it low, down through the legs of Joe Hart. Great start for Rangers, thoroughly deserved the lead.
6 minutes gone, Liam. Celtic's not been in the Rangers half. Celtic's got a problem. Rangers have got the overloading midfield. They've got 4-3-3 in there, and overloading midfield. The way Celtic can get at them is the full-backs bombing on, but the midfield three of Rangers in terms of Lundstrom or Raskin in there will get out to the full-back.
It's been given away on the far side by Hatate, and now it's Cantwell into the box for Matondo, stabs it back to Cantwell, looking for Sakala, and then O'Reilly gets there, and Hart clears panically though. Here's Raskan. Rangers all over Celtic like a rash here. They have the lead as Jack picks up on this near side. He disguised the reverse ball to Matondo. It's cut out by O'Reilly. Then Kobayashi finds Reo Hatate, who goes long down this right hand side. Now Leila Bada, Celtic in forward for the first time. Abada through, Youngju's in, chips it over McCrory, bounces off the post, and back to it comes, left hand side of the box now though. Back to Hatate, who rolls it to Callum McGregor. It's the first time Celtic have flicked into life in the game. Jota wide in the left of the Rangers box, twisting up against Lundstrom, who blocks the cross. Comes back to Jota, who finds Bernabei. 6.5 in. The Argentine works the 1-2 with Hatate. Cross comes in, the shot is blocked, and Robbie McCrory scrambles down and sees it behind for the goal kick. As we approach 7 minutes, 1-0 Rangers. McCrory's breathing a sigh of relief though, John.
Yeah, but that's what the Celtic team's all about. You know, they've been under the cosh, they've lost the goal, first attack, and they're more than capable of putting the ball in the back of net. I have to say, we're just watching there on
he's
the
got
monitor.
to score, Yogi.
Yeah, he has to score.
Robbie McCrory was scrambling across. I think he slipped. He was scrambling to get across and cover his goal. The one thing I'd say about last week's game though, Liam, Aberdeen had a couple of opportunities in transition. Rangers are leaving themselves very, very open to those types of opportunities.
Shota goes down on the edge of the box, breaks back McCrory's way. Yeah, that would explain it, because initially I thought he'd misjudged it, but if he slipped, then that wasn't ideal for him. Hit the post, and Celtic's chance to equalise has come and gone on this occasion, as Rangers pick up a throw in an attacking position midway inside the Celtic half, over on that far side, as Tavernier picks it up down the line from Matondo. It's well defended this time by Kobayashi. He digs it out. Now it's with Jota for Hatate. He goes down, free kick, fouled by Tavernier, who is claiming his innocence, but it's going to be a Celtic free kick over on that far side. 8 in then, Rangers 1, Celtic 0. Todd Cantwell scoring for the first time in this fixture, having got the winner against Aberdeen here last Sunday. He's rolled out to Ralston. Yeah, it was Duke had a couple of really good chances, probably should have scored at least one of them against Rangers here last week, and they were made to pay as O'Reilly hits it off the corner flag in an attacking position in the attacking third there, and Rangers able to bundle it clear eventually up towards the halfway line, where Kobayashi will pick it up on this near side, and he decides to roll it back to Joe Hart. 8.5 in, Rangers 1, Celtic 0.
It's amazing what a goal does in any game for any team, because as you say, as soon as Celtic lost the goal, then they're saying, we've got nothing to lose here. They're getting the ball down and playing the way Celtic should be playing. You just wonder with Rangers getting the goal, they're saying, we've got something to hold on to, and they've just backed off a little bit over the last couple of 2 or 3 minutes.
Carl Starfelt going back to his goalkeeper. Yeah, you highlighted it before the game, Kenny. It's an unrecognisable Celtic defence in many ways. I think just 75%'s been taken out of it, of what would normally start, what would be Ange Postecoglou's first choice defence. Greg Taylor on the bench today, Carter Vickers and Johnston obviously out injured.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for Rangers. They like to really guys have not had too much game time over the last few months.
Poor ball by Starfelt, straight to Cantwell. Rangers are alive to it again, and Cantwell is fouled, and that will be a free kick to Rangers on this near side.
I must say, Liam, Cantwell for me is just grown into a really, really good player. I think he's been a wonderful player as a young lad, maybe lost his way for a couple of seasons, but in the last maybe month or so, he's been Rangers' best player, there's no doubt about it.
Best position, Kenny, for him?
I think you need to allow him to roam. You need to allow him to roam and go and get on the ball and affect the game, and that was something that's maybe thrown at him maybe a month ago, that maybe hadn't done too much at the top end of the pitch. Well, he certainly has in the last couple of weeks.
Well, yeah, I mean a few years ago now, but he was in the England under-21 setup, the likes of Ramsdale, Bellingham, Foden. Tavernier takes a free kick, but it's gone straight through to Joe Hart.
He was also on my fantasy team, Liam, as well.
Well, he's getting his chance in the Rangers shirt just now, but here comes Celtic with Jota on the counter down that left-hand side, left of the box, and it comes headed clear by Tavernier. Abada was waiting in behind him. Callum McGregor finds him on the follow-up. Here's Abada at the right angle of the box, pokes it through to O'Reilly, back out to Ralston, low ball in, cut out by Rangers. It was Rascan back doing a good job on his own 6-yard line, and Rangers are away in a counter with Abi Matondo across halfway, cuts across Callum McGregor into a central position. Lundstrom wants it, Matondo shoots himself, and it's a relatively comfortable take for Joe Hart this time. 11 minutes just about played, Rangers leading 1-0. John Lundstrom was a pretty good option out wide right if he'd spotted him, decided to go himself.
He was, but listen, I don't mind that. It shows that it's real positive play, using that pace that Matondo's got, getting at the Celtic backline in a countering moment, and he chose to take the shot for 25-28 yards out. It was always going to take something special for Joe Hart, but he definitely earned the opportunity with the play beforehand.
Callum McGregor in the centre circle, rolling it left to Kobayashi, into the Rangers half for Bernabei, and out onto the touchline for Jota. Jota works a 1-2 with Bernabei and decides to roll it back to Kobayashi. Bit of calm in the Celtic defence now after that rampant Rangers start that sees them in front through Todd Cantwell. It is Starfelt out to Kobayashi to Bernabei on the halfway line, and then back to Kobayashi. Here is Starfelt, walking pace up against Sakala.
That's going to be some shift for Jack and Lundstrom out there. They're playing in that three-man midfield, and they're the ones that have to get out to the Celtic fullbacks, Liam.
Abada rolling it along the 18-yard line, cut out by Raskan, who John's just been highlighting there. He gets it clear, flicked on by Sakala into the midfield. It's going to drop Callum McGregor's way. And back to Kobayashi. Into the Rangers half for Hatate. Now it's with Ralston. Down the line for Abada to O'Reilly. Back to Abada. Down the line Ralston again. With support from Hatate if he wants him. Decides to go back to Starfelt. And then into the centre circle for Kobayashi. He finds Carl Starfelt's playing on his favoured right side. And now it's with Hatate, fall down by Cantwell. That'll be a free kick to Celtic, just about level with the edge of the centre circle in the Rangers half. I think Stephen McLean wants to, I thought he was going to have a word with Cantwell. Celtic have taken a very quick free kick. Here's Abada to O'Reilly, right hand side of the box now with Ralston, who moves it back into the middle there for Callum McGregor. Into the penalty area, low ball for he's marshalled well by Goldson. Rangers get it away. Here's Lundstrom, out wide right Matondo. He has swapped out to that right hand side now with Sakala popping up on the left, and that's gone out for a Celtic throw-in on the far side despite Matondo and the Rangers supporters' protests. We played 13 and a half minutes, Rangers leading by 1-0.
And that's the type of thing that kind of frustrates the Rangers fans with Matondo, because he's got all that pace, but if you're not going to be positive, because you can't do it all the time. He's had a really good supporting run for Lundstrom there. All he needs to do is slide the ball out of the line, and it would be another counter-attack moment for Rangers. Just not decisive enough in the decision making.
Yeah, Celtic free kick. That's a foul on Jota, and this is in an attacking position.
Yeah, it was just Raskin. It just blocked him there and took him out of play.
Well, they took it really quickly, but to be fair, Jota's still on the deck. He's just getting himself back up now. Stephen McLean and the referee, I don't think, would have been ready in any case.
I'll tell you, it's been a brilliant 14 minutes. For both teams. Rangers came out the traps flying like they should in front of this home crowd with everything to prove in this fixture. But Celtic have got their foot back on the ball, like Yogi says. They're starting to play their football. They're trying to probe and position themselves in the attacking half. Two really, really good teams going at it here today.
Well, Matt O'Reilly over the free kick. It's about level with the edge of the D of the Rangers box. It's over on that left hand side, about level with the angle of the penalty area. So it's in a good position, and it's O'Reilly who stands over it. He's floated it towards the back area of the 6-yard box, headed clear by Suter. Hatate back into the area. Ralston back to Hatate, looks up, low ball to the 18-yard line for O'Reilly, trying to bundle himself some space. Tries to find Ralston, he's managed to pull it back. Side foot effort there is blocked, and it's cleared, and it was a chance for Celtic. Lil Abada found himself in a terrific position. And Celtic come again with O'Reilly looking for Ralston on the underlap, but Ryan Jack's there for Rangers, and he just dinks it out of his defence for Tavernier, who does likewise, but he's giving it straight to Jota at the edge of the box, knocks it in towards Robbie McCrory, read the danger. Suter did enough to put off Hyun-Gu, I think's appealing that he was fouled there, but it's in the gloves of the keeper, and it stays Rangers 1, Celtic 0 on 15 and a half.
Yeah, they were certainly coming together. I think it was Goldson and who certainly coming together, but as a defender you're allowed to use your body and put yourself in there, and that's exactly what he did.
Just for that Abada chance, it was a really good opportunity for Lil Abada on his left foot. Not his strongest foot, but it was a good block for John Lundstrom.
Ken, if it's his right foot, it's more a chance of a goal.
Absolutely, yep.
It's just the 6th time domestically this season that Celtic haven't scored the opening goal in one of their games. It's a remarkable statistic, and it just underlines the dominance of this Celtic team. Twice it happened in Paisley, and happened in home games against Ross County, Hearts and Hibs as well.
Liam, I'm just watching the movement of Ralston, and I know Celtic, they link their fullbacks to go and play in the field. He's making the job easier for Ryan Jack, because they've 3 midfielders are doing that. If he just stays wide, Ryan Jack's got a shift to get out to him, and then Celtic's got 2v1 going up the sides, and that's the same on the other side.
The foul on O'Reilly right in front of Stephen McLean. That's midway inside the Celtic half, 16 and a half in. That early Cantwell goal. has Rangers in front. Some huge matches coming up across the board later today. In the top 6, Aberdeen, Hibs, St Mirren, Hearts, the battle for the European spots, the battle for third, and then in the bottom 6, what a game at Tannadice. Dundee United, Ross County, Kilmarnock, Livingston, St Johnstone, Motherwell as Celtic come forward, long ball towards Abada. McCrory comes out well and he holds on. He kept a clean sheet in this fixture right at the start of last season. Philip Helander scored the only goal. McCrory played a couple of back-to-back games, including the one in Armenia against Aliskar. It's the last time Rangers were involved in a goalless draw, actually, at Europa League playoff second leg. A year past, almost 2 years on now. Long ball for Rangers. Joe Hart comes outside his box, nods it with a head to Kobayashi. Now McGregor for Starfelt, and now Ralston. Low ball to the edge of the centre circle for O'Reilly. Back to Ralston. Right to this near side for Abada, who reverses it into the path of O'Reilly. O'Reilly looks up, rolls it behind Hatate, and that works out favourably for John Lundstrom, who goes back to his keeper. McCrory with a long clearance. Sakala wins it off Starfelt, and then McGregor and Ralston do their best to try and win it back for Celtic as Sakala continues his run. That's come off McGregor, and behind for a Rangers corner. Down on this near side, 18 minutes played, Rangers 1, Celtic the champions 0.
Yeah, just looking down there, Raskin and Jack, no talking to each other, how they get it sorted out tactically.
And that's the little slight changes to Andrew's team. They're never going to change the way they play, but in this particular game, rather than going inside, do you then come outside to drag Jack out, to drag Lundstrom out, and free guys like O'Reilly and Hatate in the pockets in behind? I'm
wanting the two fullbacks to be going on overlap, Kenny, on the inside, and you're saying to Jack and Lundstrom, you're going to have to match me.
James Tavernier over the corner, in-swinger. A group of players inside the 6-yard box surrounding Joe Hart in both colours. Tavernier, poor ball away by Callum McGregor. He went for the near post. Raskan picks it up in his effort from distance, blocked by O'Reilly, and it pings out onto the far side for a Rangers throw-in. And Todd Cantwell, the goal scorer, has the ball in his hands here, a bit level with the edge of the D. He's going to leave it though for his captain. 19 minutes played. Well, Michael Beale's got to be absolutely delighted with the performance of his players, but even then they've coughed up an opportunity for Celtic. Hit the post just a couple of minutes after Celtic had gone behind. Raskan gets the throw in off Tavernier. We're going to dig out the cross, he does so, and O'Reilly leaves it for Starfelt, who heads it away. Bernabei only as far as Lundstrom. He balloons it high over the bar into the Broomloan Road stand, and that will be a goal kick to Celtic, and it will be 1-0 to Rangers.
That would be the concern for me sometimes in those situations, Liam, is when Rangers get into these crossing positions, and sometimes it's Fashion Sakala who's out there, or Matondo. It's who's making that box. There has been, I've been watching it every time. Jack's got there, Lundstrom's got there, Tavernier definitely gets there on the back post when it's on the opposite side. But in that situation, there's 3 Celtic players in there with Rabbi Matondo. It's probably no like the right time to throw that ball into the box. But it's been a brilliant start to the game for Rangers. They've got the lead. There's been a good energy. It's taken a little bit of a lull now, but I think that's down to Celtic now kind of getting their foot on the ball when trying to dictate the tempo of the game.
Celtic are unbeaten in 27 games since they lost in Madrid in their final Champions League match in early November. They're unbeaten in their last 34 domestic games since losing at St Mirren, and they've only lost 1 of their last 66 league games. Rangers are in front here, and it's going to be a throw-in to Celtic on the far side to be taken by Alexandro Bernabei, level with the edge of the centre circle in his own half, and he's bowled it infield to Hatate. He goes back to Starfelt. Low ball out to his left, Bernabei. Jota down the line if he wants him. He's found him, the Portuguese, trying to hold off Tavernier. He's been forced back the way. Tavernier doing his job. Jota trying to find a way out there on the slide. He's put it up the line for Bernabei. It's still in play. I think there were Rangers protests that are going over the line. Starfelt collects in the centre circle. It's not a great ball. He's asking a lot of Abada, who's gone down, claiming he was fouled. Stephen McLean says no. Rangers play on. It's Sakala driving forward up towards the edge of the Celtic box to the overlapping Yilmaz. His cross comes in poor. He needed to hit the near post there.
That needs to be cut back, Liam.
Throw in on the far side.
Big opportunity there for Rangers. Good play for Yilmaz, reading the crossfield pass, sliding in, knocking it for Sakala to use his pace and get up the left hand side. Slides him on the overlap, but Cantwell's made a brilliant run to the kind of near post. He just wants it slid across the 6-yard box for him to go and tap in his second goal of the game.
1-0 to Rangers, approaching 22 minutes. It's a big day for the likes of John Souttar, Rabbi Matondo, guys who did arrive in the summer window last year, people who perhaps were hoping to make a big impression this season and haven't ended up doing it, and Ridvan Yilmaz is another example of it. Those three arrived in the summer and there's still big question marks, albeit John Souttar was out injured, probably exempt him from it, to be fair.
Yeah, I think he is a Rangers player all over, and you're just hoping that for his sake he can stay injury free.
Throw in Celtic over on the far side. Bernabei is over it. Those big games in the Premiership I mentioned earlier. We've got the Championship playoff, the second legs of those semi-finals. Airdrieonians with that big lead against Falkirk, Alloa ahead against Accies, and you've got Dumbarton Annan, and the Pyramid playoff as well, Spartans Albion Rovers. It's the Pyramid playoff final as Starfelt picks up just outside his own box, rolls it into the middle there for Hatate. There's a cross the halfway line with the pass out to Jota wide on the left. Jota looking for support, gets in Bernabei, left hand side of the box. This cross is cut out by Goldson, he can't prevent the Celtic corner over on the far side. 23 in, Rangers 1, Celtic 0. Celtic corner though.
And that's the type of play you've come to expect for Andrew Celtic. They pass it about, you've got Bernabei goes inside, the ball goes outside for out to Jota. That Bernabei then makes that diagonal run in behind the full-back, tries to cross, but Connor Goldson done well to cover it, block it and put it out for a corner.
Corner Celtic then, outswinger O'Reilly, into the box it comes, flicked away by Goldson. Hatate with the effort, which has gone well wide, and the right foot just outside the box. He's put it well past that left hand post and it stays 1-0 to Rangers. Just some facts about the game. 66% possession for Celtic in the match. It feels like Rangers have had more of the ball than the 34 that they have in the official statistics, but 7 shots to 3, 3 of them on target for Rangers, and 1 of them went in. Todd Cantwell scoring inside the opening 5 minutes as Ridvan Yilmaz goes back to his goalkeeper. It's McCrory, and he clears it to some decent footwork there at his near post as the flick on by Matondo. No free kick, but Rangers have it anyway with Jack looking to play it in behind Starfelt for Sakala. Starfelt was down, and that's a free kick. He touched the ball with his arm as well, and I think Rangers feel it was a free kick for handball against Starfelt there. He went down and touched it with his arm before the referee's whistle went, according to the Rangers players. And now Tony Ralston's being spoken to by the referee, and there are 3 blue shirts around the referee down below us.
It's very, very clever defending for Carl Starfelt. He knew he was in trouble. Fashion Sakala's going up the outside of him, a lot more pace. He just got his body between Sakala and the ball, took a little bit of hit, and he knew he had to go down because he was not going to match the pace of Fashion Sakala. Bought the free kick. Very, very experienced defending, Yogi. Yeah,
absolutely different class, as you say. He's put his body in there and took the chance. As soon as he felt any kind of contact, down he went. Let the referee make the decision.
Well, Rabbi Matondo's requiring some treatment from the medical team just now, so there is a stoppage allowing the players to take on some fluids down below us. Around about 16 degrees Celsius in Glasgow right now, so it's a relatively warm day as Matondo continues to get treatment. Abada's limping a little bit, he's had his injury problems recently. There's Rangers leading Celtic by 1-0. Of course, Rangers unbeaten domestically at Ibrox this season. They haven't lost here since since Ajax beat them. And that Napoli game, incidentally, was the only time they failed to score in a match at Ibrox this season. They lost that one 3-0. And change of shirt down below us as well for Hatate. 26 in, Rangers 1, Celtic 0. How's Ange Postecoglou feeling about his team's performance, do you think? We know Michael Beale will be pretty content.
Yeah, he never shows too much emotion, and he just lets his team get on with it. Got great belief in it, they'll go and do the business. And as you say, with that possession, all I say is right at the start, that first 10, 15, 20 minutes, you need to keep a clean sheet. now Rangers have got something to hold on to, but Celtic have been growing into the game, and it's been a game where, as you say, they've dominated possession, but Rangers have still got that counter-attack, as we've seen there. You know, with the pace of Matondo and Sakala, any chance you can get and play that ball in front of them, then I think they've got the pace to go and hurt Celtic. But a great game, I really am enjoying it.
In 26 minutes in, Liam, they've still had 2 big chances in the game, Celtic. They cut back to Abada, which he got all wrong. Lundstrom got a decent enough block on it, but that chance in the counter moment where Abada feeds it across to O and Robbie McCrory scrambling, he should be putting that in the back of the goal. These are the big moments that have actually went for Celtic in the last couple of games, and not so much against Rangers. Celtic took theirs, Rangers have not. Vice versa today.
Chasing a long ball. It's just a bit too much on it though, and it bounces through to McCrory. And then O's tried to leave something on McCrory there, and I think he's ended up hurting the left side of his rib cage.
There you go, Robbie McCrory laying for the absolute best. Alan McGregor, when anybody goes through him, he gets the elbows out.
Aye, the elbows out. Take a bit of that, right in the midriff.
Out for a Celtic throw-in, which Jota's taken really quickly, looking for Owen. Goldson gets his head onto it and puts it out for a throw-in down by the corner flag over on the far side. Certainly a Celtic team knows how to score, that's for sure. They haven't failed to score in a game since losing 2-0 at home to Leipzig in the Champions League. That was a way back in October. 34 games in succession they've scored, and in those 34, only 4 teams have stopped them scoring more than once. So they
goal scoring machines, Liam, aren't
they?
Again, we've said about the 2 big chances they've had already. There's no doubt there'll be another few between now and the end of the game. It's whether they can take them or not, and we may even see that man coming off the bench as well and got on the end of a couple of them. Kyogo.
Long ball out to Abada. It's brilliant control by Lila Abada with the chest on this near side. Now he moves in field against Yilmaz. A poor pass though. He's looking for Hatate. He's giving it straight to Sakala, who's on it now. He's on his own, but he's driving at it. He fancies his chances against Starfelt, who cuts across him, does brilliantly, and he's done even better to find his goalkeeper, and Joe Hart's able to clear his lines out to the near side as it bounces off Matondo, and out of play for a Celtic throw-in on this near side. That's terrific defending by Starfelt, John.
One's absolutely different class. He knows what's coming, he knows the pace of Sakala. Sakala fancies the foot race, you know, and Starfelt just making sure that he's getting that half a yard start and matching it. Saying that, he'll not be able to do that too many more times this game.
1-0 to Rangers, 29 minutes on the clock. It's Todd Cantwell in possession in the midfield. He's robbed by Bernabei. He passes it back into his own half for Ralston. He's creeping up onto the half-hour mark here. Ralston tackled by Matondo. He showed way too much of it, and he's lucky because Matondo's tackle takes it back to Hart. He'll bowl it out to the big Japanese defender Kobayashi, to his compatriot Hatate. Long ball forward, looking for O'Reilly. It evades him though. Sutak gets it away. It's Matondo for Jack, who's not really been involved in the game as he likes to be, Ryan Jack. He's just back from another little spell out with a niggling injury. He's had so many of those over the last few years. I think to play for a throw into Rangers on the far side.
I think that's something that Michael will want from his team now, is like not just kind of making this game end-to-end like a basketball game when they're transitioning. Get their foot back on the ball. Ryan Jack, Raskins, Lundströms, get a bit more control in the game rather than just letting Celtic dictate the tempo and have all the possession that you've already talked about. Because Ryan Jack, he wants to be on that ball. Raskin wants to be on that ball, controlling things, so they need to get their foot back on it.
Try to play for a Celtic throw-in over on the far side. And Bernabei is going to take it. That free kick I think has been given in the end, and he's taking it short to Kobayashi, right out on that far side touchline. Starfelt on it now, rolls it out to this near side touchline for Ralston. Infield for McGregor to Ralston, who side foots it infield to Kobayashi. Out onto that left hand side, Bernabei. Cantwell slides in with a challenge. Bernabei bounces back up. It's a second chance for Cantwell to tackle, which he does. It's the goal scorer, Cantwell, over on that right hand side. A lovely little bit of skill, and he's brought down by Bernabei. He wags his finger at the referee. He might have been worried he was going to be yellow carded there, but it's A terrific shimmy there by Todd Cantwell, and the Rangers supporters enjoyed that. 31.5 in, Rangers 1, Celtic 0.
It's not just the shimmy though, Liam. Look at the work rate to go. He wins the ball one time, he wins the ball a second time, then he has the energy to get up and take the attack to Celtic, and that was just incredible. I don't even know what he done there, Yogi. He done some kind of wee flick with 2 feet and he ends up kind of pirouetting away and buying the foul. But wonderful play for Todd Cantwell. He's playing right at the top of his game at the moment. Michael Beale's actually alluded there's more to come for this player.
Free kick Rangers, Tavernier will take. Into the Celtic box it comes off a Celtic head, Kobayashi, and I think it's Suter quite happy to let it go behind for the corner. Against Tate down here, and Rangers will have their latest corner to be taken by James Tavernier on 32 minutes. The skipper comes over to take. Scored his 99th and 100th goals for Rangers against Celtic in that defeat at Parkhead at the Easter break.
I mean, I must say, I look at that three: Suter, Goldson and Jack against Bernabe, Kobayashi and Starfelt. I fancy the Rangers players.
Tavernier to the back post, and it's knocked behind by Goldson. I think they come off a Celtic defender last. Yes, corner, it's come off Starfelt.
Yeah, it's Starfelt that's picking up Goldson, doing his job.
The Rangers keep the pressure on, looking for this second goal. Tavernier goes over to take, right in front of what is normally the away section here. Of course the Celtic fans used to get the whole Broomloan stand, but normally when everyone else comes here, it's that Govan West corner on the far side that the visitors get, and Tavernier will take it in front of a group of Rangers fans this week, and it's come off a Celtic head and in! John Suter will celebrate. It came in towards the penalty spot, and it's been nodded past Joe Hart, who didn't even dive for it, and Rangers have their second goal. John Suter takes the credit, and it's Rangers 2, Celtic 0. Long way back for the champions here.
And I must say, they said that in the previous corner, Kobayashi, even the first corner of the game, I think Rangers tried to isolate Suter on Kobayashi. I'm not sure if he actually does get his head on it or not, but what he does is he absolutely does. He gets his head. He's too strong for Kobayashi. It's a mismatch with John Suter and Kobayashi. He just muscles him out of the way, and it's a wonderful header right in the middle of the forehead. Just wrong foot's Joe Hart. He couldn't even move. 2-0 Rangers, and it's a big area advantage for Rangers, these set plays. Delighted for John Suter as well to get this goal.
Yeah, the thing Andrew will be disappointed about that, it's not at his headed at its highest point. You know, it's an out swinger, and he's actually gone back the way and put, but he's got plenty on it.
He just bullies Kobayashi, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely. But as I say, Celtic's on top, and before you know it, they're 2-0 down. So still, you know, the Celtic need the next goal in this game. Need to go and get that next goal.
John Suter's first Rangers goal comes against Celtic. Long ball down that far side for the champions is ushered behind for the goal kick by Goldson. Well, this is Rangers' game to throw away now. What a good position they've put themselves in. Of course, he's come too late for them. This is all about just trying to make their mark, make a statement against this dominant Celtic side that sealed the title 6 days ago. And they've put themselves, Kenny, in a terrific position now. 10 minutes from half-time, they lead 2-0.
Yeah, they have been. I think they definitely deserved the lead with their first goal through Todd Cantwell. They came out of the traps, they were excellent. That first 5-6 minutes, first 10 minutes even. Celtic have been good. I mean, Celtic have had a lot of control. But again, counter-attacks, Rangers have looked dangerous. Set plays, it's something that's always been talked about. When these games come about, they maybe lack height and aggression within this Celtic team. And you've got Goldsons and Suters and Lundströms, Ryan Jacks, guys like that who are going to be attacking it. So that highlight just before, it does look like John Suter's got the beating of Kobayashi in these situations.
The thing about John Suter, Kenny, is that he'll wish the season was just starting just now, let alone finishing.
He will, because he's had a lot more game time towards the end of the season. He's fit and healthy, clear of any injuries, and he's performing. And this is a big goal and a big game, you know. So it's and it makes up maybe a little bit of that mistake that he made for the back pass at Celtic Park as well. So you're right, he'll be wishing the season had another 30 games left.
It's a big moment for him personally, and for Rangers. 36 on the clock, they lead 2-0.
Just noticing a wee tweak there for Rangers as well. You know, they're just asking Sakala and Matombo just to sort of split in between the centre halves and the full backs. You know, and it's sort of that Cantwell just playing off them and against McGregor.
I think they made that kind of change about 5-6 minutes ago, where they have went more like that kind of front three pressing now, haven't they? Because Cantwell's kind of taking more of a right hand position off Sakala, and Matondo is now, he's starting to work towards Ralston rather than Ryan Jack coming out of the middle of the pitch.
There's Jota, little ball to the edge of the Rangers box. O'Reilly, Bernabei looking for Jota. It's broken down again from a Celtic point of view, and Rangers are away in a counter once more. 3-on-3. Raskan's got options left and right. He's looking for Sakala. Has he got the weight of the ball right? Not quite. Hart comes out, smothers at the feet of the Zambian, and it stays Rangers 2, Celtic 0.
Liam, it was the other side. Cantwell had put them a great break there, and he was in. If Raskin could just get his head up, you know, and just sort of somehow get it out his left foot over to the right hand side.
But you know, he's waiting for Sakala to go. It could have went 3 seconds before. If Sakala makes the run when there's more area to hit the pitch and more area to run into, he's got to go. He's racing Carl Starfelt, he's got the pace of him, he's got to go earlier, and Raskin's waiting for him to go.
John Lundstrom clears. It's going to go out of play for a throw-in on the far side to Celtic, which Kobayashi takes quickly to his goalkeeper. Celtic's long unbeaten run is under serious duress here at Ibrox Stadium. It's Callum McGregor in possession, short across the halfway line to Hatate. Back to McGregor, out to Bernabei, against Lundstrom. This pass goes straight to Raskan though. Hatate gets in the way. He pinches it back for the visitors, but he's lost out to Cantwell, and it just bobbles away from Todd Cantwell. And Celtic have it back with Bernabei left of the centre circle, chip ball forward looking for O'Reilly. Goldson's there, it's back to his keeper, and Robbie McCrory just boots it away and out for a throw into Celtic over on the far side. 38 in the clock. Rangers 2, Celtic 0 here on Sportsound.
Tell these 52,000 fans inside this stadium that this game means nothing, Liam.
Well, that's it. I mean, I know in the grand scheme of things it doesn't mean anything, but this fixture always means something to the two sets of supporters of the two clubs. It might not mean much to anyone else, but for the Rangers fans just now, they're loving this, and it's a little bit of solitude in what's been a poor season for them. Celtic have had their number left, right and centre, but it's Rangers who are in front here, 2-0, and they're looking for another here. Matondo coming forward, Ridvan-Yilmaz in the overlap, low ball across, cut out by Starfelt, and behind for the corner as we approach 39 minutes. Rangers 2, Celtic 0.
Yeah, everything we've talked about for the last 10-15 minutes, Rangers more than capable on that counter-attack, just breaking it up. It's good playing.
It certainly looks a little bit rusty on this right-hand side, Ralston, for me. I think, it's always, I've said it before at the start of the game, it's 75% of the back line's changed to Celtic, and I think you're actually seeing that in certain moments in this game.
The Tavernier comes over to take Rangers' latest corner. They scored from their last one.
Yeah, let's get it. Yeah, you've got it right, Kenny. I'm just looking at Starfelt, Kobayashi. Yeah, they're picking up that Suter. Yeah.
Rangers' fourth corner.
I'm just watching it get touched tight.
Tavernier in swinger coming up with the right foot. Again, it's a congested 6-yard box. There's a group of players just to the right of the penalty spot as well. Suter is one of them, Goldson's the other. In comes Tavernier's delivery, it bounces in the box, breaks back to Suter again. His effort's blocked, I think it bounced up off his hand, and Celtic have a free kick inside their own area. 5 minutes left of this first half. Rangers leading by 2-0. They're looking for a third, and it's very rare that an Ange Postecoglou team has been ragdolled quite like it's being right now.
Yeah, that was a free kick. Ryan Jack in there on the box, you know, it's WWF wrestling in there.
Hit him in the headlock, didn't they?
Yeah.
Ball down the line for Celtic. It's an early ball looking for but it's right through to Robbie McCrory, who holds on in this near post there, looking to make his mark between the sticks for Rangers. No idea who their number one goalkeeper is going to be next season at this point as we speak. Goldson finds Raskan, short ball to the right for Tavernier, he slips as he releases it. Long ball, Starfelt with a header. Callum McGregor back to Kobayashi, who gives it straight to Cantwell. And now it's with Jack. Matondo to his left, slips it through towards Matondo. It's a poor touch from him though. Well, Ryan Jack's frustrated and he's got every right to be. as it bounces off the Welshman and behind for the goal kick to Celtic to be taken by Hart.
Good opportunity there, good play again for Cantwell, releasing Jack. He then gets Matondo as he's on the move. He's just wanting to take that ball into his stride, and he would have been beyond the Celtic back line. He just gets too heavy a touch, out for a goal kick. Another promising attack. Rangers just comes to an end.
Approaching half time at Ibrox. Rangers 2, Celtic 0. It is Hatate just outside the centre circle, finds McGregor out to the right for Ralston. Up against Matondo, down the right-hand touchline for Callum McGregor. Raskin comes across, Abada trying to win it back, but he's lost out, and Raskin, combination of Raskin and Jack, won it back for Rangers, and Tavernier's got it into his stride, driving forward deep into the Celtic half, looking for Sakala. Starfelt got a slight touch onto it, Sakala looking for space, and Kobayashi closes the door in his face. It stays on 42, Rangers 2, Celtic 0. A little bit last ditch there from Yuki Kobayashi, but of the desired effect. Celtic player out from the back, and it's Hart to Kobayashi.
Then it wasn't the best pass into Sakala from Tavernier, but he fizzed it in into Starfelt, and he just got his feet mixed up a bit, and then Sakala just tries to bundle his way through. He gets a touch. He was never really in control of the ball, but he just tries so hard to get it to the other side of Starfelt to get a shot away. But he's defended by Celtic well.
Everything was says, kind of everything's on Rangers. It's on the turnover, it's on the counter. You know, and they've got that pace up front, it's going to hurt Celtic.
There's a bad at for Ralston. Ralston's low ball into the penalty area. Rangers struggling to deal with it. Eventually, it pops out to the defender as Celtic have a man going down in the box. It's Ogyungyu. And Rangers are able to clear. O's looking for a penalty. It's not coming. 43 played, Rangers 2, Celtic 0.
That's what I was on about, Liam. You know, that's the first time Ralston's got down the side on the overlap, gets that cross in. Chance for Celtic. I want to see him doing that more often.
He's on the overlap again, but Abada slips it through, disguised ball low across the 6-yard line, is cleared away by Jack. Was Jack fouled there? I think he was.
Yeah,
it's going to be a free kick to Rangers inside their own box with about a minute and a half of the 45 to play. Rangers 2, Celtic 0.
I thought that was a chance.
I thought he could shoot. O'Reilly, he looks for the cutback.
I think it was Jota.
So that's O'Reilly on the cutback. It's a foul. It is a foul on Jack. O'Reilly catches Jack with his studs up. But I thought that was the one I thought was more of a penalty, and I think they must be looking at it now. Connor Goldson on the handball. As the ball was cut back, Connor Goldson was down, and it looked like it had hit his hand. It definitely did. Whether it's enough for the penalty, we're not sure, but they'll be checking it right now.
Well, I think it's game on here by the looks of things. Just looking at Stephen McLean, he seems to have jogged away from the box, and it will be a goal kick for
it was
Rangers
a supporting arm. I don't know if that's still in the equation when it comes to handball, but it was a supporting arm that struck.
Robbie McCrory will take final minute of the 45 here. Rangers 2-0 up. Nothing as far as league placings will be affected at all by whatever the outcome is here today. Lots could be affected later, and open all mics will be on from 3. Those huge matches across the board. Perhaps most notably that game at Tannadice between Dundee United and Ross County. That is huge, particularly given the events of last weekend. As Joe Hart gets it back on his goal line just about, he gets it clear. Oh, chases. Suter gets there first though. It's still in play down the near side. It bounces. Tussle between Abada and Yilmaz. Eventually goes out for a Celtic throw-in. 2 minutes of injury time. We're into the first of those at the end of the first half.
Just gone looking back in that Rangers set-up in the 3-man midfield. There's nothing new. Steven Gerrard done it, and the right midfielder, left midfielder, or the central one, you had to match your fullback. That was your job, and if he went full way, then you had to go and match him, and that's what I'm saying with Ralston. You know, another fullback. Go and ask a question of these guys. Go and stretch them, ask a question.
Todd Cantwell getting the fans going as well. And that went, he won the goal kick for his team, and then both arms outstretched in front of the Copeland Road end, just to try and get the supporters to see them through to half-time, which is pretty close now.
It's something that goes maybe a little bit unnoticed, Todd Cantwell. You expect him just because the way he looks and the way he plays. He's this type of flair player, but the boy puts an incredible shift in for his team. We've seen that in the first half, winning balls, breaking the play up, tracking all the way back like he did there. It's been a really good, strong strong performance so far for Rangers and Todd Cantwell.
Throwing Celtic on the far side. O'Reilly running it off Cantwell, which looking, John, like Celtic going to have a fair bit of work to do in the second half of this one.
Yeah, certainly, Liam. They'll be happy with the ball position that they've had, created one or two chances, dominated the game. A little bit concerning in terms of the turnover, the counter-attack, you know, and they'll have to sort that out. But as I keep saying, it's the next goal's the winner. And if it goes to Celtic, game on. If it goes to Rangers, you could say game over.
Abada. Final few seconds of the first half. Ralston goes back into his own half for Starfelt, who moves it into the centre circle for Kobayashi. We are well into the final 10 seconds now. Stephen McLean will blow for half-time just a moment. He's given a free kick for Hatate though, but there's going to be no time to take it. First half's over. 52,000 Rangers supporters are claiming their team well off the pace as far as the Premiership table's concerned, to the point that Celtic won the league with 4 games to spare last weekend. Well, this has been a good performance from their team today. They lead the champions by 2 goals at the interval. It's just the 4th time Celtic have been behind in a league game this season, and they've got a fair bit to do in the second half. They'd before today only conceded 2 or more to domestic teams 3 times this season. Hearts in a 4-3 win, Dundee United in a 4-2 win, and the 2-2 here at Ibrox on the 2nd of January. Well, Todd Cantwell and John Souttar have got the Rangers supporters buoyant at the interval here, despite the fact the title's gone. Inside 5 minutes, Lundstrom's shot saved by Hart. Cantwell smashed it home in the rebound before, on 11 minutes before the interval, John Souttar from the Tavernier corner out-muscled Kobayashi and bulleted the header past Joe Hart, who was stricken. He didn't move for it, and that's given Rangers a really comfortable lead at the interval, albeit Celtic have had their chances. Of course they have. Oyeungu hitting the post just a couple of minutes after the champions had gone behind. Robbie McCrory may well have slipped as it came to the Korean striker. He kind of chipped it towards goal, but it bounced back off the goal frame and he couldn't do anything on the rebound. That means at half-time here in the sunshine in Glasgow, it is Rangers 2, the back-to-back champion Celtic 0.
The Old Firm Derby, Rangers versus Celtic.
What a strike!
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
So Rangers ahead at the break. Todd Cantwell on 5 minutes, John Souttar on 34. Just looking at the match stats, surprisingly Celtic 67% possession, Rangers 8 shots on target to 8 shots to Celtic's 4 on target for the home side, no shots on target for Celtic. Leanne Crichton and Bobby Madden are in the studio with me. Your thoughts on that first half, Leanne?
Well, it's a good performance from Rangers, first of all. I think we spoke about it at the top of the show. You know, what would it mean? What could we take from it? Well, the reality is that Rangers players certainly look like they're performing for the fans that are there, that have turned out in their numbers today, as you would expect. They started really well, started strong, came out the blocks, looked really aggressive, forward play, looked to cause Celtic some problems, and they get their just rewards for that. What I'm saying here is, though, and I'm debating it in the studio with Bobby as well alongside me, is that I'm not overly convinced whether the Rangers' defensive performance is much better than perhaps what we've seen previously, or if it's just the fact that Celtic haven't been as clinical and ruthless as we've seen them, and they've passed up some big opportunities at probably defining moments in the half. So Rangers have got to be pleased. I think what you look for, Michael Beale, you want a response, you want your team to look like they're playing for the jersey, and they're not treating this as just a nothing game, albeit an Old Firm game is never going to be like that. And Celtic, performance levels, middle to front, surprising.
Yeah, you would think perhaps changes in the second half from Ange Postecoglou. We'll get John Hughes' thoughts in a minute, also the thoughts of Tom Inglis. They're both at Ibrox. Bobby Madden, we discussed before the game, Stephen McLean, perhaps a surprising choice, his first Old Firm match since 2016. How's he done?
I think from a refereeing perspective, Kenny will be very happy. I think everyone predicted this could be played like a friendly, and I think when you see in the first half of an Old Firm match there's only 9 fouls, that tells its own story. I think there's been 2 big decisions for the referee team. One, an offside decision correctly allowed to continue by the main stand assistant, and then there was obviously the penalty call with a potential handball with Goldston.
So talk it yourself and the arm having a chat, but just talk us through the laws of the game on that one.
So in that one, I think people will say potentially the arm's away from the body, but any supporting arm on the ground or the arm going to support the player on the ground is not considered deliberate handball, so it's not a handball offence. VAR absolutely would have checked that, and then with that criteria they would have advised the referee that it's a correct decision of no penalty.
Yeah, no, it took probably just the replay for us to offer a bit of clarity, and Kenny during commentary managed to get there as well with that supporting arm. But it's these types of moments that even everybody in the ground is probably thinking, will VAR look at it? What's their interpretation of it? How did it look? There's no doubt it comes off his arm, but with his arm on the ground, then absolutely it was a correct decision.
Tom English, your thoughts on that first half? It's certainly been a very open game.
Yeah, it has. I think what you're seeing is one team that has an edge and one team that doesn't really have an edge. The big difference between this and previous Old Firm games is that Rangers have taken their chances and they haven't committed any catastrophic blunders at the back. So their attitude is spot on, and their accuracy has been good in front of goal, and they've got the goals and they've got the confidence. With the goal, the first goal, comes confidence to play. What we've seen before with Rangers is that miss chance, then they concede, and then their kind of confidence levels drain. Their confidence levels are overflowing at the moment because they're 2 goals up. Everybody wants the ball. The crowd is very, very noisy in their favour, obviously, 50,000 of them, and it must seem pretty easy out there for Rangers. Belatedly, it's far too late. Rangers people will be this will be bittersweet for them. You said, where was this when they needed it? But it's been a very good 45 minutes for Rangers. Celtic kind of off the pace.
It's interesting, John Hughes, for players who are not regular starters. So Kobayashi in the side today, and I think it's fair to say he struggled.
Yeah, I think he's a beautiful footballer, a really sweet left foot, but in terms of the physicality, he's found it difficult, especially at set pieces. His job's to get marked up. John Souters is marking on Souters being very, very fly about it in terms of his starting position. He's hiding behind Connor Goldston in that sort of 2-man bus stop, as you like, and his movement is giving him a problem. I'm sort of looking at it after the goal, the next corner that Rangers got, and I'm saying, you need to get touch tight, you need to get a grip of him, get touch tight, and eventually, he's down there. But it's the physicality is definitely at set pieces he's finding difficult. In terms of being a footballer, get on the ball, passing it, getting started, good pace, yeah, he's certainly got that. It's a strange game for me, Kenny. I think, as you say, the possession shows that Celtic are dominating the football. I'll agree with Leanne. I think in the final third they could be a little bit better, but Rangers it's just on the Celtic poor passing, the turnover, the counter-attack. Rangers are putting Rangers on the front foot and getting at them, and with the 2 players, Sakala and Matombo, they've got the pace that Celtic are a little bit worried about. So as I say, next goal Celtic could get that game on, and I'm hoping that is the case.
Just going back, John, to the first goal as well, the Cantwell goal was really nice build-up play from a Rangers perspective. O'Reilly tracks the run out of Cantwell until he enters the box. He then continues his run, and it was Kobayashi again for me that's caught sleeping.
Yeah.
He doesn't pick up inside the box, and he's slow to react in terms of the rebound coming back out for the goalkeeper.
Was Joe Hart really stretching for it in terms of could have got away to a side, or was he stretching that much at all? Could do?
Yeah, I think it's more just the power it comes at him. I think it's just more a reaction save that he gets his body behind the block. It comes back out to Cantwell. To be fair to him, he takes it well. He's still got a bit to do, I think, in terms of the accuracy of the shot and keeping it down and low and back across goal. But for me, Kobayashi, Celtic don't concede goals like that with Carol Starfelt on the left hand side, and Carter Vickers alongside him. It just shows you how much they miss him.
And we talked about that. Kenny alluded to that at the start of the show. A player of that, he's talking about the player of the year, what he brings to that Celtic team, then he's always going to be missed.
Starfelt's actually looked good on the right hand side as well.
He's played very well this season, hasn't he?
And Kenny touched on his game intelligence as well in moments, getting across, using his body really well. He's grown, he has it, because he was the one player at the start of the season that you would have had question marks around, but certainly the partnership alongside Carter Vickers has been very good. Yeah, a man that knows a thing or two about defending. Willie Miller had Carter Vickers as one of his players of the year. A big miss for Celtic today. Let's hear from the former Celtic captain Paul Lambert. He's a guest of the club at today's game at Ibrox. He's been speaking with our reporter Jane Lewis.
Well, Paul, obviously it's been a great season for your old club, Celtic. How impressed have you been with them?
I think, as I said before, that going back even a year, the club's made great progress. The manager's got the club in the palm of his hand, really, and club-wise, structure-wise, and the footing it's got is in a really strong place.
How much of that is down specifically to Ange Postecoglou, do you think?
Oh, you've got, listen, a football club needs a manager, and he's definitely been that for the 2 years he's been here. He's won virtually everything that's going. They're a really good place. He's the leader of the team, and everybody buys into the way he wants to play.
He's made some brilliant signings, hasn't he? And he's used his knowledge of specific markets and specific players really well. New players have come in. They've hardly taken any time to settle. How key has that been, do you think, in their success this season?
I think that the recruitment, everybody knows. As I said before, I don't think he's made one bad signing that I can think off the top of my head. But he's recruited brilliantly because he knew the market, especially with the Japanese lads. They've been a revelation. They've hit the ground running, I think, nearly every one of them. I liked the good ones that were already there. So, and he's just put them all together, told them how he wants them to play. Good players will take to it and thrive on it. And the ones that don't, he'll probably ease them out.
Domestically, obviously, that they're thriving, that they're dominating. In terms of Europe, I guess that'll be the next big target, the next big ambition for the manager and the players too, will it?
I think that's why I think he'll stay, Jane. I think he'll stay because of that. I think he wants to make a mark in it. The European, I'm not going to say they're going to win it, but to get the group stage is what everybody wants Celtic to do, or be in Europe after Christmas time.
That would be the next step.
Yeah, I think that's the club, the size of it, and they're not far away from it. If you look at especially the home games, you just need to get that little point maybe away from home, but predominantly you have to win your home games to get through that section.
And how do they go about doing that? Do they need to recruit wisely in the summer? Do they need to bring in some kind of high-end players, which of course will cost money?
I think they will. I think they'll strengthen for the European scene. I think that's evident that the lads need a little bit of help on that. The manager will decide who he wants. I'm pretty sure if there was a high-end player and the manager thought it was the right character of the club, what you don't want to do is bring somebody in who doesn't buy into it and who causes disruption and doesn't play with a smile on their face. You need people that want to be there, and if he gets a good character, I think he'll be happy with that.
Yeah, that's a really good point you make, because he is big on that, isn't he? He's big on bringing the right characters in, and if you bring someone in who's on a big fee or earning a lot more money than some of the others in the dressing room, that could be quite a disruptive influence, but yet maybe that's the kind of player that's needed to make the next step in Europe. It's a real fine balance, isn't it?
No, it's a character for me. That's fine and great if you get a little bit more money and they knock you 50 goals a season and things like that, you can put up with that, but the same token goes, you don't want to fill your dressing room with guys that don't want to do it or who think they've arrived and the tools go down after a season, because Celtic's a club where you have to do it every single game and every single year. So, but he'll know that. I don't think he'll suffer fools, and I think he'll get the ones to buy into it.
Do you think that the players who have been playing really well here, the likes of Kyogo obviously banging in the goals, Callum McGregor who's been a mainstay, are they far off that European level?
No, what I do think, I think the team to get the European level, if you took every position in a football field, I reckon you probably need two guys at the same level or more to take you through that section. So Callum, could he hold his own? Absolutely. Furuhashi, the goals. There's a great debate whether Furuhashi can do it in Europe or whether these sort of things will come into play, whether Celtic as a club can do it in Europe. But the only way that you do that is when you bring better players in to help them. But the club indicates it needs that little bit of European pedigree.
Paul Lambert there, he is a guest of Celtic at Ibrox this afternoon. Kenny Miller and John Hughes are there for us. Bobby Madden, did you ever officiate these two guys? What were they like?
I think Yogi's too old for me to be. I've officiated as a referee, but nothing. No, sorry.
Yogi will be coming down to the studio shortly.
I do need to be careful, John. I remember my first time as fourth official. You punched me in the arm. I think I still get the bruise. You were criticising a referee called Chris Boyle at the time. And then I think Kenny, I refereed many times. Actually played in my first Old Firm game in 2017. So I've dealt with both. Kind gentlemen.
Was Kenny one of these noisy types in the park?
He was. I think he would admit that himself, but it was always well mannered. Never, I think he would always question, he would always ask, but there was never anything that was out of the ordinary, overstepped the mark. But he would always be one that would ask the question, which is fine if it's asked in the right manner.
Yeah, Steve McLean's done a decent game today, isn't he, guys?
Kenny, I have to say, in regard to Bobby, he was one of the good ones in Scottish football. He was one that you could speak to. They take it a bit of banter, and I feel it's something that's just right out of Scottish football, and I think Scottish football certainly missed him for those routes, plus being a good referee. He struggled to get around the park at times, right enough.
No, he never struggled, he just didn't try. He fixed himself in that centre circle.
Took it off when we were young.
Yeah, a brilliant centre midfielder.
Yeah, but it's one thing, Kenny, isn't it? We hear a lot from players and managers, just that relationship between the players and the referee. It's crucial for the game to run smoothly.
It is, and again, Yogi's right. Bobby was excellent at that. He said them, and again, he's actually probably gave me a wee bit too much credit there, because I probably approached him a little bit more aggressively than what he's let onto there, But it was always with respect, and I think Bobby was great for that, because I think that's one also thing that can rile managers, coaches, players up there if a referee's maybe not quite listening. And again, I've came across ones that actually like they go out your way to ignore you, and it does kind of infuriate players and coaches and managers. But it's big when you've got a good relationship between the players and the referees. I think it does help the situations, particularly in the hot spots when things are ready to kick off. If you've got that respect there, it always helps.
And in terms of that first half performance, more of the same in the second half from Rangers, Kenny?
Listen, I think they can't allow Celtic to come on to them. I know they've looked dangerous in the counter in the transition moments, but I think they've got the players in this team to actually get control of it again. So I think they need to try and get a little bit more control of the game, because the longer Celtic have got the ball and the more they're probing, something might drop. And I think when Kyogo's come on and these types of players, when it drops, we've seen over the last 3 or 4 Old Firm games, when it drops is lethal.
Full second half commentary to come from Ibrox. Rangers against Celtic with Kenny Miller, John Hughes and Liam McLeod.
Yeah, so much to look forward to in the closing weeks of the season. And those big matches at 3 o'clock here on Sports Sound. Aberdeen, Hibs, St Mirren, Hearts, Dundee United, Ross County, Kilmarnock, Livingston, St Johnstone, Motherwell. And those playoff games as well. Celtic players have made their way back on the pitch, still waiting on Rangers. In the Championship playoffs, the Airdrieonians with that big lead against Falkirk. And they're at the Falkirk Stadium. Perhaps those two the Bairns scored the other night, just giving them some hope they'll be able to turn that around. And Hamilton Accies behind against Alloa in that tie in the other semi, just 1-0 back. They welcome the Wasps to Lanarkshire. Just last night, Clyde sealing their place in the League One playoff final, beating East Fife 2-1 in Agri. It was 1-1 last night. Annan 6-0 up against Dumbarton, going to the Rock. Surely they're not going to be surrendering that kind of a lead. And then you've got the Pyramid playoff first leg between Spartans and Albion Rovers. That's all to come. We'll bring you news of all of that as we go along from 3 o'clock. The second half, though, of this final meeting between the top two in the Premiership is about to get underway. Rangers will do so with their first goal scorer, Todd Cantwell. In just a moment they'll go left to right, shooting towards the Copeland Road end. Celtic in the green and white hoop shirts, Rangers in the blue and white, as you would expect here in Glasgow. And Cantwell gets the second half underway, rolling it back to Raskan, to Goldson. No changes for either team at the start of the second half, at least. I'll go through the lineups again if you missed the first half, or you want refreshed in just a moment, as Raskan goes back to his goalkeeper and Robbie McCrory boots it forward. It is he in goal for Rangers: Tavernier, Goldson, Suter, Yilmaz, Lundstrom, Jack, Raskan, Cantwell, Sakala and Matondo. For Celtic, Hart in goal: Ralston, Starfelt, Kobayashi, Bernabei, O'Reilly, McGregor, Hatate, Abada and Jota, and Othungyu is leading the line. And coming into this one, Ange Postecoglou was enjoying the third best winning percentage in this fixture, behind only Brendan Rodgers and Steven Gerrard, who both had tremendous success in this fixture. Postecoglou currently just ahead of Martin O'Neill as it comes to Kobayashi at the edge of his own box. All those managers coming in relatively recent times as well. As Cantwell wins it off Hatate. Free kick's been given though by Stephen McLean.
Yeah, good referee, and he let the play go on. There was a tug on him. Cantwell got a tug on Hatate, but he was clever enough to get away from him, and then Cantwell got back at him, recovered the ball, but brought back for the first contact.
Rangers then 2-0 up. It's over a year since they last lost the domestic game here. It was Celtic who beat them 2-1 at the start of April 2022. You've got to go back to Hamilton, March 2020 before that. As Celtic come forward down the right with Abada. He's won the corner off Yilmaz. Good start to the second half, this by the champions, as they look to try and find a route back in, and you would not put it past them.
Yeah, I still feel I've got a great belief that Celtic will score. You know, and as I said, I've said if it's the next goal, then we've got a game on. It's up to Rangers to stand up to it.
Matt O'Reilly will take it, in swinger with the left foot coming up over on that right hand side for Celtic as they attack the Broomlow, and in it comes. It is a Celtic flick, which was won at the right hand side of the 6-yard box by Bernabei, and he's put it well past, and that'll be a Rangers goal kick.
Yeah, again, I can't see I don't think Celtic should cause Rangers too many problems with that type of situation, crossing into the box. There's no really anybody, I would say, Yogi, like really aggressive to attack it on a Celtic point of view, so it's a situation Rangers will be quite happy to deal with.
James Tavernier with a long ball forward for Rangers. The header from Starfelt on to halfway. O'Reilly loses out to Cantwell, but the referee blows the whistle. The foul by Todd Cantwell on O'Reilly, and he's annoyed because he was away. Had the whistle not gone?
I think they've got away on there, Celtic. I think he just gets a toe on that ball. O'Reilly kind of never had full control of it. He just toed it the other side of him and went. I think they've been very fortunate there. That's a free kick.
And Starfelt just outside the centre circle. Postecoglou resisting the temptation to go to his bench at the interval there. They've got Bain, Taylor, Kyogo, Haksabanovic, Turnbull, Iwata, Maida, Forrest, and the young midfielder Ben Summers. And Starfelt picks up. He's midway inside his own half. The Rangers bench: McGregor, Hadji, Kamara, Morelos, Arfield, King, Devine, Lowry and Lovelace. Kobayashi rolling it back to Joe Hart a few minutes into the second half. Short ball to the right of the box for Starfelt. Out onto the touchline for Ralston. Good skill. Shimmy away from Matondo, who bites back at him, but it's Ralston checking his run on the halfway line and passing it back to Starfelt, who plays it into the edge of the centre circle for Bernabei. Prodding it to Kobayashi, and now Hatate. Yeah, it's a poor ball. Well, at least it was a misunderstanding between Hatate and Bernabei, and Rangers have it back. Cantwell to Sakala, driving down the right hand side. His cross takes a touch on its way through. Raskan with a little swipe at it is blocked by Starfelt, and Celtic get it away. That looked promising for Rangers, and Nicholas Raskan was the attacking player who might well have been able to get a shot in and goal, and he was about 6 yards from it as well. Yilmaz winning it back for Rangers, wide on the left, cross comes in, it's behind Sakala, and it breaks out to this near side where Jota will get there ahead of Tavernier, and he shifts it back to Bernabei, who's in trouble, giving it away, but he's done well to win it back, and he passes it outside his box for O'Reilly. His attempted ball forwards cut out by Raskan, and now it's with Lundstrom. At no point really in this game have Celtic had it by the scuff of the neck, but Jack's caught dilly-dallying on it by Matt O'Reilly, who's now driving forward, shifts away from Suter and chips it towards goal, and what a save by Robbie McCrory. He's just flicked that one over the crossbar as Matt O'Reilly tried to chip it over him, and he's able to get the strength in the wrists and the fingertips to put it behind for the corner. Outstanding goalkeeping.
Liam, Suter has to know who's coming at him and get him on his right foot. He'd let him go left foot, and it's an absolute fantastic dink. You know, 9 times out of 10 near the back of the net. What a save.
Here comes Celtic from the resulting corner. It's taken short to Callum McGregor, who goes back to Ralston. Now Hatate. The Rangers fans screaming for handball there. It's gone behind for a corner though.
Just shows you, Liam, I've said it, don't write the Celtic team off. They know how to score goals and know how to win.
Should O'Reilly have taken the low road there, though?
No, listen, I think he's done the right thing. Yeah, well, there's no right thing. You've got to score. That's the thing. If he puts it down Robbie McCrory's feet, it's really tough for him. But he thinks he's maybe going to go down to read the kind of shot, and he just tries to dink it. It is a wonderful save for Robbie McCrory.
Problem here, fourth official, Liam.
Yeah, Don Robertson's the fourth official John's talking about. Has something come from the... I'm not sure what's happened here, but Stephen McLean's passed something to Don Robertson. Something's been lobbed on the pitch, I think, whatever it was. Stephen McLean passed that to the fourth official, Don Robertson.
You see Celtic going short now. They're probably realise that Rangers have got that height advantage.
It's taken short by O'Reilly to Jota. Skips away from Reid van Yilmaz, who wins it back. He's done well, and Rangers will try and catch them in the counter here, but it's not a great ball to Sakala, and Hatate read it and slides in to put it behind for the throw into Rangers on this near side. It's when taking the short corners can sometimes look a little bit silly, because Celtic had a corner there and it was almost Rangers away in a counter.
Well, they should have been. Rangers have got to take care of the ball there better.
Here's Cantwell. And Celtic header from Bernabei that Cantwell latched on, too short to Tavernier. And back to Cantwell, who finds Goldson. Runs into Jota. Now it goes for a throw-in. It's gone Celtic's way. The assistant on the near side looked as though he was wanting someone else to make the decision for him there. And David Room, who's the assistant on the main stand side.
Well, I had Michael Beale pointing one way and I had Ange Postecoglou pointing the other.
Eventually he went with the Aussie, and it's Starfelt. 2-0 to Rangers still, then 52.5 on the clock. Celtic on the ball wide on the right though, with Abada. Little ball in towards the 18-yard line, cleared by Suter. And now Rangers have it with Raskan. Sakala's away if he can find him on this near side. He's popped it through. Sakala chases Hart, commits himself, doesn't get there. Sakala has it, the goal's gaping at the moment. Back to Cantwell, and Hart saves. How has Hart saved that one? I'm not sure if it's on target or not, but Joe Hart didn't know that, and he's just pulled off an outstanding save, international class, that we saw up the other end from Robbie McCrory. And that's going to be a corner to Rangers when it could so easily have been 3-0.
That's on target, all right, Liam. It's a very, very clever attempt by Cantwell. He knows Hart's running back towards his goal the other way, and he tries to just feed it in at the near post. And Hart, off his back foot, just outstretches his left arm and gets enough on it just to deflect it away past the goal.
If that was a Kenny Miller going through Sakala, what would have happened?
Oh, you know, he's got.
You would have bought the penalty.
You're straight into him in penalty.
Tavernier takes it, Goldson heads it, and he's headed it past.
I think Joe Hart's actually done well to pull it out him out when Sakala's going to realising he's going to get that touch and take his chances second time around, and what a job he done off it.
Well, when you consider that he was in no man's land there after he'd committed himself to trying to win it back off Sakala initially. Callum McGregor loses out, so does Bernabei. Raskan, now Sakala. Rangers smell blood, and it's Sakala. Low ball across is cut out by Kobayashi. Breaks back to Sakala. Works it to Cantwell. Out wide right for Raskan. Level with the penalty spot. The cross takes a touch, and that's favoured Abada on the 18-yard line. He clears as Goldson slides in on O. Jota tries to win it back, fouled by Cantwell on the near side. Free kick to Celtic, 54 on the clock. Rangers 2, Celtic 0.
Celtic are getting turned over too much. Liam, they have to take care of their passing and take care of, you know, they're running with the ball. It was McGregor there, just overrunning it, getting turned over. And as soon as that happens, that's putting Rangers right on the front foot.
And Postecoglou had a long lingering look at his substitutes who are warming up down below us, like Kyogo, Haksabanovic, Maida. Kyogo and Maida were the goal scorers here at the start of January. Huge goals for Celtic they were. As Hatate picks up and clips it out wide left for Jota. Controls it well. Tavernier comes to meet him, but it's gone behind for the corner off the Rangers skipper. Played almost 10 minutes of the second half. Celtic know they simply have to get the next goal if they are to avoid losing this marvellous unbeaten record that they have. It's under the most incredible pressure here though. 2-0 behind. But if anyone can dig themselves out of this kind of a hole, it is Celtic. Jota back to McGregor. Back down the line for O'Reilly. Level with the penalty spot. Showed too much of it to Yilmaz. Cantwell's there, he's all action. He's put it out for a Celtic throw-in down on the near side. I think Yilmaz has gone down injured, so they might need to get some attention on for the Turk here. Rangers 2, Celtic 0. The Celtic have been better in the final third, I think, since half-time than they were in the first half. But John's right, Kenny. Every time Rangers win the ball back off them in the midfield, they look like they're flailing a little bit, which is most unlike them.
Yeah, because they're being untidy. They're not looking after the ball the way they normally do. And when they play the way they play, they are open. I mean, I guess something that's been pretty good for a Rangers perspective over the last few Old Firm games is their press, their organisation off the ball's been pretty good. But what Celtic are doing is that they're playing into Rangers' hands at the moment, turning it over too easily. And Rangers have had a lot of dangerous situations. By the way, they've not made the most out of them. They need to be better in those moments. But there's been a lot of these situations have occurred in the first 11 minutes of this second half.
Live at Ibrox here on Sportsound. Rangers 2, Celtic 0. It's Celtic on the attack, and the underlap. It's Ralston. His cross is poor. Away by Jack. Starfelt's header forward. They couldn't keep it in play though, despite the best efforts of Matt O'Reilly. And it's behind for a goal kick to Rangers, who continue to lead 2-0.
Yeah, going back in that, what we're talking about with the tactics, Rangers are strong in midfield. They've got that overload. They want you to try and play through the midfield, through that middle part where they're going to get the steal and counter you. You know, the way today is down the sides for the fullbacks, Celtic fullbacks, in terms of Ralston and Bernabe. Get down the sides and get 2v1s down the sides and get crosses into the box.
If Rangers win their final 4 matches, including this one, they get themselves on to 94 points. That is a tally that would normally be more than good enough to win the title, just not in special seasons. The 2 invincible seasons, Rangers had one of their own under Steven Gerrard. That Celtic one under Brendan Rodgers. Neil Lennon's team in his final season, in his first spell back in 13-14. Those are the only times, along with last season, where 94 points wouldn't have been enough, as Hatate clears. In fact, it would have been enough to win last season. It's just the 3 in that last decade or so. Here's Matondo, the edge of the box. He shoots. Comfortable save at his near post for Joe Hart as we approach 58 minutes. Rangers 2, Celtic 0. But I guess what that fact simply tells us is how good this Celtic team has been, how consistently good this Celtic team has been.
But there's no room for error in the Rangers' point of view this season. I mean, Celtic have been absolutely incredible from start to finish. They've set such a high bar on the level of consistency in their performances and the amount of goals that they've scored as well. It's just been Rangers have not been able to match it. And like you say, if they can get to 94 points, I don't know, probably every season of the last apart from 3 they win the league.
Yeah, you're talking about a manager that's come in, 6 trophies up for grabs. He's won 5 of them.
Yep.
You know, that is a remarkable turnaround.
Yeah, Rodgers the only man who can beat that, I think. As Cantwell goes back to suit at the whistle goes, and I think that's gone Celtic's way.
That's the 4th official giving that one right in front of him. To be fair to Stephen McLean, they couldn't see it. Cantwell's back was turned to him. Handball, we could see it. We were looking at it. Don Robertson could see it. He gave the free kick.
Bernabe down this left-hand side up against Tavernier. Going to get the better of the Rangers captain. Easier said than done. Tavernier reacts well. Sakala forward to Cantwell now. Into the feet of Sakala down this near side. Clipped by McGregor. He'll be booked, I would imagine, in the wake of that. And Stephen McLean calling over the Celtic skipper, who wags a finger at him. And Stephen McLean goes to his pocket, and he's going to yellow card Callum McGregor. He was sent off here around about exactly 2 years ago, in fact.
I'm not too sure if that was a yellow card. That's definitely a free kick, but some of the other stuff that's went on in the game, and I know the referees don't want to put any pressure on themselves.
It's a professional foul though, isn't it, John?
Yeah, but I've seen that earlier on in the game, and it's just sort of, been sensible and having a word with the player.
There's Jack back to Lundstrom. Yilmaz is away on the left. He seems to be moving freely after his injury a moment ago. John Lundstrom stretching his legs, driving forward, rolling it out wide left for Matondo. Level with the 6-yard line, and he's offside. There'll be a free kick as we tick on to the hour mark at Ibrox here on Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland.
Liam, no matter the score, what happens, I still think you'll see 3 or 4 subs for Celtic, as Ange has got great belief in his substitute.
He normally makes it about now, doesn't he? Around about the hour, just after the hour mark,
I think
65.
No matter what the score is, you'll still see 3 or 4 of them, and hopefully they can just get a little bit of energy and a little bit, what Celtic's just in that final third, get them up the park and create more chances for Celtic.
Celtic have it with Ralston on the far side. It was a difficult ball for him to control. He did well, actually. He moves it back to Starfelt, I think some of the Rangers fans felt he used an arm to do so. He comes back to Joe Hart at the edge of his own box. Short to Kobayashi. 61st minute, looking for Jota. Tavernier reads it, slides in. Sakala couldn't keep it in play as he tried to scamper down the line. On this near side, that will be a throw into Celtic.
Again, it's just Rangers forcing Celtic into an area where they can go and get the trigger to press. Tavernier going really aggressive on Jota. It's just keeping them at bay at the moment. There's definitely something missing for the Celtic performance, whether it's the changes I've had, but they're definitely on the rhythm.
Here we go, Kyogo.
Yeah, Kyogo and
Maeda.
Yeah, you fused their names there. It's like Jedward.
Just make them into one
Eurovision
player.
Weekend. There's Jota for Hatate to the byline. McCrory makes the save, breaks back to O'Reilly, prods it out to Jota on this near side, level with the penalty spot, chips it in, and McCrory holds on. He certainly looks the part. He's had to wait and wait and wait for his moment, Robbie McCrory, and he's desperate for another clean sheet against Celtic. It's on 61.5, Rangers 2, Celtic 0, and the changes will be made, and Kyoda is coming on for Celtic.
And you think it'll be definitely be one of them.
Here's Cantwell though. Here's Cantwell driving forward, low ball for Sakala, sliding challenge Kobayashi, breaks to Cantwell, looking for space, he shoots across the face of goal, and behind it goes off. Well, I was ready to say gone half heart for a corner, but I think the referee's blown his whistle and given Celtic a free kick here. 62 played, Rangers 2, Celtic 0.
Yeah, once again, Liam, it's Cantwell, you know, when he breaks forward.
Off Joe Hart's boot. I'm not sure what the free kick's been given for, but it is a free kick. It's a good save by Hart.
Yeah.
Double change then. Ohyungu is the first to come off as predicted, and Kyogo Furuhashi will replace he, and Maeda will come on for Abada, who still looks a little sluggish after his injury problems recently. But in the 63rd minute, Rangers 2, Celtic 0, and Kyogo, the 30-goal man, is on the pitch now. And it's a very, very different proposition for Connor Goldson and John Souttar. Still waiting for to settle as a Celtic player. It's very difficult for him because he can't unseat Kyogo in the Celtic starting 11 on a general basis, albeit he did today. Starfelt at walking pace forward to Hatate. First time ball out to Ralston over on that right hand side. Under pressure from Matondo, down the line for Jota. Infield for Hatate. Maeda's made a good move ahead, so's Kyogo. The ball forwards cut out by Goldson. Good defending by Connor Goldson, because Kyogo does play the game differently to he'll play on the line.
Yeah, we've just seen that. Hatate first look, he wants to look for him, Kyogo, and get him, play him in there, and his movement wants to go in behind the two centre halves. Just got cut out there by Goldson.
Raskan, lovely skill, gets away from O'Reilly. Now it's Lundstrom looking for Sakala again on this near side. Sakala eventually gets onto the bouncing ball and heads it to Cantwell. I kind of feel they haven't utilised Fashion Sakala enough today, because he's been in the right positions. Now whether they haven't managed to find him with the pass or whether his controls let him down, he's always been there. He's always been in behind Bernabei today.
It's a bit of both there, I think. I mean, he's had a couple of opportunities where he's kind of miscontrolled it and things, but like you say, he's in a good area. That one there, I mean, Lundstrom just doesn't execute the pass properly. It was a good chance to put him in behind Bernabei again.
Big switch of play goes out of play for a Celtic throw-in just beyond the midway point of their own half over on the far side. 64.5 on the clock. Rangers leading by 2-0. Celtic, remember, just that one solitary league defeat all season. It came in Paisley against St Mirren back in September. They've been practically flawless since then.
I'm just noticing Jota no wide right, Liam. Maeda wide left, he's moved over.
Like Jota's extremely two-footed, but he probably prefers it out there. But when Abada's in the team, he is all right-hand side, so an opportunity for Jota to get out there. Ralston's put under pressure there by Starfelt's pass, and he clatters into a combination of Matondo and Jack over on that far side.
That's 65 the kind of
played 2-0 Rangers.
It's that thing there, Liam. That's Kobayashi chipping a ball across the Ralston up around about his neck area about 3-4 minutes ago. It's a sloppy pass. That's what's allowing Rangers to get on the front foot and really press Celtic and put them under pressure. That's things that the Celtic team have not been doing too often this season.
One league defeat in 66 for Celtic. They're 2-0 down at Ibrox, and just under 25 minutes to play. Kobayashi, low ball from inside his own box forward to Hatate. Some rare space for Reo Hatate here. As he goes across halfway, prodding it through, looking for Kyogo. Out comes McCrory to the edge of his box to clear. First time, and out for a throw into Celtic in front of the watching Rangers manager Michael Beale. Will be desperate not to lose a fourth successive game against Celtic after the problems that they've had against the champions over the last couple of months and matches, and even the draw here against Celtic. These games cost Rangers their shot at silverware this season in many respects. Yes, they run early in the season under Van Bronckhorst did them in the end, but the League Cup final defeat, the Scottish Cup semi-final defeat, costly losses against the Celtic side, and of that shot at lower league opposition to win their 8th treble, which would have them standing alone in the Scottish football annals. 66.5 on the clock. Rangers are going to make a change shortly. Yanis Hadji's being readied almost on 67. We're heading to the final quarter of this final derby between these two this season. Reo Hatate in possession, back to McGregor. He in turn goes back to his goalkeeper. Hart short to Starfelt, forward to O'Reilly, and out to Ralston. Certainly not been the waves and waves of incessant pressure from the champions that we have grown accustomed to seeing.
No, certainly no. As you say, the Rangers press has been very good the last 5-10 minutes, keeping Celtic in our own half. Just prepare to let them have the ball, be patient.
Jota to Ralston, over on the far side, just inside his own half. Jota back to Starfelt, and then knocking it out to Tony Ralston. A clipped ball forward, looking for Kyogo or Hatate's headed away by Goldson. No, it's too easy from a Rangers point of view defensively. Rascan through for Matondo, good strong defending by Starfelt. Bernabei now, across the halfway line. Again, he sold his teammates short. Been a few of them from green and white hoops today. Tavernier for Sakala. Rangers looking to hit Celtic here. Sakala into the box, couple of step overs. Down he goes, blocked there, Bernabei, and then Kobayashi is hauled to the ground by Cantwell, who I think is claiming that the Celtic defender made the most of that. It's going to be a free kick to the champions inside their own box, and Rangers will hook Matondo and replace him, Kenny Miller, with Hadji.
Yeah, again, he's gave a lot to the game, Rabbi. He's put a lot of energy in there. There's been counter moments where his pace has came into play, but ultimately I think the quality at the top end is just not been good enough, and it might be it'll be a slight change to the shape. I think Hadji will come in.
Hadji will go in and play with McGregor, and Cantwell will go and play up top.
Yes, and they might just drop just drop into deeper areas of the pitch, Hadji and Cantwell, and allow Sakala to be more of a focal number 9.
Team news beginning to filter in from the 3 o'clock kickoffs. You can get all that bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. We've got a live text up and running as usual, and the team news will be dropping there right now. Here at Ibrox, it's 2-0 Rangers, and Sakala's been robbed. Through goes Sakala up against the goalkeeper, round the goalkeeper, and he rolls it home. Sakala picked Starfelt's pocket, drove into the area, and goes past Joe Hart before rolling it home to send Ibrox into delirium here. It will be a Rangers victory without question. Too little, too late as far as the title's concerned. But try telling that to the 52,000 inside Ibrox Stadium this afternoon. Fashion Sakala scores, and it is Rangers 3, the champions Celtic 0.
Yeah, Liam, the goal, it's self-inflicted. It's come from a mix-up for Callum McGregor and Starfelt. It's a case of after none of them got there, then Sakala's on it like a flash. Just watching it on the monitor, Jack takes around the Joe Hart and rolls it in left foot. But once again, everyone will say it's self-inflicted, it's sloppy, it's a turnover, it's a counter. And Celtic have just played right into Rangers' hands.
I think in passing Sakala again. probably getting a bit of just reward for the work that he's done all game, and even over the last few weeks he's had opportunities like that. I'm thinking up in Pataudry when he goes through one-on-one and the goalkeeper never made the most of it, but he puts a lot into it, particularly off the ball with the very press that Yogi's talking about. He's got his reward there, a 1v1 situation. Cam takes it around Joe Hart and just strokes into the empty net. 3-0 Rangers, and that'll be it. Like Yogi says, this will be game over.
Sakala's 9th goal of the season as Celtic come forward. O'Reilly, Jack's there, and he prevents the corner and puts it out for a Celtic throw-in on this near side. And it's bittersweet for Rangers, this 3-0, decisive. It's been a good performance, and it's all come too late for them as Raskan comes forward. Could it get even better for the Rangers supporters today? Long from Raskan, looking for Sakala, up against Starfelt on that far side. Starfelt loses out again to Sakala. Now it's Hadji, moves it back to Jack. 19 minutes to play. Rangers want more. They make a statement here,
and I think there's more in it as well, Liam. You see how open that is for that counter-attack. They've been sloppy, so unless Celtic tidy up their play, there's going to be more opportunities for Rangers. They will throw more men forward to try and get back into the game. There's more goals in this for Rangers. Yeah, this is the kind of result they need.
Tavernier hauled to the ground by Daizen Maeda, and it's going to be a Rangers free kick level with the edge of the centre circle in the Celtic half.
Here's 3 substitutes coming for Celtic, Liam.
Yeah, Iwata, Haksabanovic and Turnbull are coming on.
Don't you ever go at them ones, Yogi. Right, just leave that to Liam.
Hey, who is it? Turnbull's one.
Yeah, you got Iwata and Haksabanovic. Again, it's guys who, you know, when you look at the Celtic squad, it is so strong. When you see these guys coming onto the pitch, they're going to wait till after this free kick. In it comes. Goldson wins the header and Hart holds on. Rangers 3, Celtic 0. This is the second time an Ange Postecoglou Celtic team has shipped 3 goals against another Scottish club. The other was against Hearts. They scored 4 themselves that day. You just don't see any sort of comeback here today, though. Kobayashi out to Bernabei on this near side and up the line for Maeda. His pass is wayward. It's been too much of that from a Celtic point of view today. Cantwell collects in the centre circle, rolling it out to the left-hand side, and it's Hadji winning it just when it looked as though it was going to fall kindly for Jota. And it's Yanis Hadji rolling it back to John Souttar, who got Rangers second. Cantwell got the first. Sakala rolling home the third. Raskan in the centre circle, out to James Tavernier. Tavernier driving forward up towards the edge of the Celtic box. James Tavernier rolls it out to Lundstrom, who shoots for goal in the end. And has Joe Hart got a touch? Lundstrom claims he has. A goal kick's been given as Lundstrom's effort found the side net. 73.5 played. Rangers 3, Celtic 0. And David Turnbull is going to come on for Rio Hatate. It's the first of the 3 changes being made here by Ange Postecoglou. The others, Jota is coming off, and Iwata will replace him, and said Haksabanovic will be the third man to come on for Matt O'Reilly. Kenny Miller.
Yeah, again, he's getting all his players getting to. Angel realised that the game's gone. He's just getting lads kind of, again, maybe freshening up, trying to keep them fresh and trying to get lads get minutes before the cup final up and coming in a few weeks. But it's been a disappointing day for Ange again. Make no mistake, yes, the league's been won, the League Cup's in the bag, and there's a potential treble on the way, but he'll be standing on the side here at Ibrox unhappy with the performance, definitely unhappy with the result, because what these things can do, they can quickly change momentum in a football team. Exactly,
and he'll be asking questions of himself. Is this good enough for us, saying Rangers what they need to do in terms of recruitment? This might just say Celtic are still a little bit short. You never know. That's what it does to you.
There's a free kick to Celtic with a foul on Maeda by John Lundstrom, who's going to be the second player into Stephen McLean's black book.
And Liam, sometimes defeat can be a good thing. It makes you look in the mirror and say, right, we're not as good enough as we think, and you go again. Hard to take at the time, may I say, but sometimes it's a great judge.
I just think sometimes there's been too much talk about like points totals and records and goal records and everything. I've been talking about it now for 3-4 weeks. I mean, this will put paid to the points, that's for sure. Obviously the goals record is still there. Celtic, again, this I know it's not been Ange that's talked about it, he'll just be wanting to get the job done and get the trophies in the cabinets, but there's been a lot surrounding the Celtic team over the last few weeks.
What will this do for Michael Beale, Kenny, in terms of, not beat Celtic?
It gets the monkey off the back, Yogi, doesn't
100%.
it?
And we want these kind of guys in Scottish football, because although he's Rangers manager, he's a real good football man. He wants to see the game played properly, and Rangers, they should be, after this performance, they should be looking at giving them great confidence going ahead.
Inside of play for a throw-in on this near side for Alexandro Bernabei. He takes it short to Kobayashi, but in the final 15, 3-0 to Rangers. A rare domestic hammering here for the champions. Bernabei on the near side, it's a long one looking for Maida. Tavernier gets his head onto it, infield for Goldson, who clears. Now it's with Sakala. Well, he controlled the ball well, and he's found Hadji on the overlap. He's now level with the edge of the D of the Celtic box. He's now inside the box on that far side. He runs into trouble though, and Ralston clears for Haksabanovic, who has it level with the edge of the centre circle over on that far side. Now it's back with Starfelt, who squares it for Kobayashi.
Brilliant play there for Sakala, using strength and body power to knock Starfelt, and then have the control to bring it under his spell, and then go and set the attack up for Hadji. That's proper number 9 play, something maybe Rangers have been missing definitely for the last few months, but giving you that focal point to get you up the pitch.
Penny, we'll see Morelos.
I think you may do, but I mean, there's no need for him, I'll be honest. But Fashion Sakala's put a lot into the game, so if he was to come off, maybe it would be the automatic substitution with us. But with 13 minutes to go, is he out? I've barely seen him get off his seat, to be honest with you, Liam. But he would be an obvious replacement for Sakala.
Here's Tavernier.
Or Zach Lovelace, who's just went out now, the young lad who's been impressive in the B team.
Yeah, I mean, now he can, Michael Beale, chuck a couple of those guys on, can't he? This game's won. 77.5 on the clock and 3-0 up. If you can't do it then, when can you do it?
Also, these young guys in any squad, Liam, they've got a massive part to play, although they're learning the game. In terms of finances, they're on low wages, but they make up a squad. That allows you to put a bigger wage on, a bigger marquee signing.
I mean, both these clubs are accused of not giving or not having a pathway for young guys to come through, to make it from the youth side through the reserve team and into the first team.
I get it, Liam, and I totally understand, but getting in the Rangers Celtic first team is the most hardest thing to do in Scottish football. With no disrespect to anyone else.
And it's twofold also. Like it's they have to have the right level of coaching and education, but they also have to be good enough and willing to put the hard yards in to displace a Kyogo or a Todd Cantwell. You need to be exceptional to break through these football clubs.
Another issue clearly is that these young guys, if they are good enough, then they're getting poached by clubs down south, and I suppose there are many other clubs in Scotland who will feel that these two clubs have poached some of their best talent as well down the years. It's just one of those things, isn't it?
It's the game we're in. It's just the natural kind of order of the game, isn't it? When the big clubs come calling. So whether that's within our country that the big two come calling, or if it's again the Billy Gilmores, the Ben Dokes, that they end up going down to Chelsea and Liverpool respectively.
There's Turnbull for Celtic, flicking it into the midfield, but it's straight to Ryan Jack, who plays it back there to Goldson. He in turn goes back to McCrory just outside his box, where he boots it forward up into the air. It goes. And the bouncing ball falls for Kobayashi, and he nods it back to his goalkeeper. And it remains at 3-0 to Rangers, who have lost. I've talked about how good Celtic have been this season. Rangers have lost 4 league games this season, 2 of them to Celtic. For context, only once did they lose fewer than 4 games a season during their 9-in-a-row dominance. They lost 3 in 95-96, but they lost 4 or more in all the other 8 seasons. So whilst they have ended up being a long way behind Celtic, it's still been on the face of it, a good league season, very good league season. We talked about the points tally earlier on. They could get to 94. They'll be odds on to do that now. Haksabanovic looks for Kyogo, comes right through to McCrory. Final 10 minutes, Rangers 3, Celtic 0. But only once in that 9 in a row, Kenny, did they lose fewer than 4 matches, which is what they're on this season.
Listen, it speaks volumes for the job that Michael's done since he's came in. His level of consistency in terms of the results have been very, very good. You know, the thing that's been levelled against this team is the performances and the results against Celtic. Performances I felt have definitely picked up over the last couple of games. The game at Celtic Park, the 3-2, we all know how that was decided. It was decided on mistakes and moments in both boxes. Michael talked about it himself. The semi-final was a close encounter, a really, really poor goal for Rangers to lose, and a big miss for Fashion Sakala when they had an open goal. So the games have been super, super close.
I think he was trying to explain himself, Kenny. It's super, super close, but this win here today will do him the world of good. You know, as Kenny says,
and for the team, and for the players, the Raskins and Cantwells, who have came in and not won an Old Firm game, and now they've put in a big performance in this game against this opposition. So I've always said coming into this game, it was probably more important for Rangers to actually go and get a result than it was maybe for Celtic.
It's great for Scottish football. Two great managers at Old Firm, great football managers, want their team to play proper football, get on it, pass it.
Connor Goldson's down just now, being helped to his feet. Little stoppage in play. Some of the Rangers players overtaking on some fluid. Goldson is helped back to his feet. They certainly missed him in the period of time that he was out for. A very important player to this Rangers side. Looked like he was going away. Looked like he was gone. Was it last summer?
Last summer it was, it was a 1st of July re-signing, effectively last year. So much speculation surrounding his future, but he chose to stay and commit, I think, for another 3 seasons.
Yep. Ryan Jack will come off now to be replaced by Scott Arfield. 8 minutes to play. 3-0 Rangers. Sports Sound, BBC Radio Scotland. The 3 o'clock kickoffs are bounding into view. Top 6, Aberdeen, Hibs, St Mirren, Hearts. Huge when it comes to the jockeying for European positions, including that 3rd spot. Aberdeen 5 points clear, and Hearts hoping the good pals from Leith will do them a favour at Pittodrie today. Starfelt nods it back to Joe Hart, though Hibs will fancy they can still catch Hearts. Bottom 6, Dundee United, Ross County. What a game that is at Tannadice today. Kilmarnock, Livingston, St Johnstone, Motherwell. The battle against the drop. And then those playoffs, which we'll be covering as well, will be across it all as Turnbull shoots from a long, long way out, high over the bar, 30 yards from goal. Goal kick to Rangers. David Turnbull, who scored Celtic's 4th in that romp back in the autumn in the opening fixture between the two this season. This is the 6th one.
Yeah, Liam has just found himself out of the team over the last good while. You know, he'll be frustrated, but always getting on the park, and when you get that chance on the park, albeit a substitute, you go and take it.
Yeah, he's a great player as well, David Turnbull. He's had another injury issue as well, as that pass sums up Celtic's day. Haksabanovic down the line looking for Ralston, and was behind for the goal kick. Rangers leading by 3-0. And both these teams over the last few years have dished out hammerings to each other. And Celtic, during that failed attempt for 10 in a row, went through some torture in this fixture. Ange Postecoglou had swung the pendulum back to the east end of Glasgow. This has been Rangers' day. Rangers' day, but Celtic season. Long ball from McCrory, underneath it Kobayashi, and Tavernier let it go out for a throw-in down on this near side.
I'm just looking down at the Rangers bench, I'm seeing Michael Beale there. He's talking away to one of the coaches. It looks like there's going to be a substitute. And as you say, Ken, it'll not be Morelos because he's not out warming up.
Well, it's the 3 young lads that are out warming up at the moment, Lowry, Lovelace and King, so you would expect maybe 1 or 2 of them to come on.
Yeah, they're getting a call.
Yeah, it's young Lovelace, so it looks the things.
Lowry maybe as well. They've got another couple of changes in the locker, haven't they, Rangers? There's Kyogo losing out to Suter, and Goldson goes back to McCrory, clears first time as we approach the 85-minute mark. Rangers 3, Celtic 0. Header from Ralston, Turnbull Out to Haksabanovic. And goes back to Ralston. Square ball for Starfelt. One thing's for sure, Ange Postecoglou might be annoyed at elements of this performance. He certainly won't be telling us publicly, because his players have earned the right to have a day off or two.
100%, Liam. But in the back of his mind, he'll be a very, very angry man in the way the games went. You know, he's expecting a little bit better from his Celtic team here today. You know, and it will annoy him. But there again, do you sit back and rest on your laurels, or do you go again? And as I say, sometimes in defeat, it gives you the kickstart to say, right, well, we're not as good as we think we are. Yous are not as good as we think we are. Right, we need to do something about it. Let's go again. And albeit, I think he's a kind of coach that also wants to make players better. You know, even with what he's got, can I make them better? How can I make them individually better, collectively better? And that's a sign of a good coach.
Lundstrom with the header out on the far side, inside his own half. He's going to win a throw-in, but it's actually gone the other way when it went over the line. And the 3 changes coming now for Rangers, the 2 youngsters, and Glenn Kamara is the other who's going to come on. And as Kenny was saying, Lowry and Lovelace will get their opportunity here. Arfield just couldn't quite get it into his stride, and Kobayashi for Bernabei, and now it's Lundstrom to Cantwell. And goes back the way to James Tavernier, to Goldson, pumps it long, looking for Sakala. Got Rangers third, he's going to get there as well. Right hand side of the box, taking on Bernabei. Are things going to get better for Rangers here? And Sakala shoots, come off his own man, I think, on behind for the goal kick, and it will stay Rangers 3, Celtic 0 on 87.
Kenny, man of the match.
I'd have to be saying Todd Cantwell for me. I think he's been everywhere. He's scored the opening goal of the game. He's contributed big time. He's been outstanding. Another big performance for Cantwell.
I think can understand that, but I think Sakala is really proper number 9, read the line really well, worked him really hard.
Listen, you asked me and I've gave you an answer. I'm not going to agree with you.
Right. Oh, well, I'm a little disagree with you, I know.
No, you absolutely are, but you asked me, I'll give you my answer.
He's sparring for a fight, Kenny. Lundstrom off, replaced by Kamara. Cantwell, he took his leave of absence as well, and so will Fashion Sakala. And Todd Cantwell's getting some reception.
I think the 52,000 agree with me, Liam.
Well, there's the changes. And Todd Cantwell, who scored Rangers first today, scored the winner against Aberdeen last Sunday. He's had a very good week, his best week in a Rangers shirt. The infancy of his career.
And what a chance for that Lovelace, you know, not an opportunity. He's going to have 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes at most. But to get on the field, Yogi, in this game for a young player, what a chance, what an opportunity.
Never take it away from you. You can say you've took part in an Old Firm game, no matter what happens in the rest of their career.
And Alex Lowry on as well. Lovelace just 17 years of age. And here come Rangers with Hadji, and it's right down the throat of Hart, who holds on. 20 odd yards from goal is the Romanian, and Hart holds on.
And it's that press again, turning the ball over in the final, their own final third. Rangers getting at them and getting a shot off and goal.
It's what we call, Liam, in the game. It's setting traps. You're wanting the opposition team to go and play in certain areas, and if your press is right, you go and get a steal. And that's exactly what Rangers have done. You know, Celtic's been a little bit sloppy in terms of their possession and their passing, but all credit to Rangers for being on the front foot.
Yeah, it's been a bit of both, hasn't it, as we go into the 90th minute. Rangers 3, Celtic 0. Lovelace incidentally on for his league debut today. Comes against Celtic, and his team's 3-0 up. His only other appearance in the first team came against Queen of the South in the League Cup away back in August. James Tavernier for Rangers down this near side, looking for Hadji. Bernabei smashes it off Tavernier, and out it goes for a throw-in to Celtic, which Bernabei takes and bowls it back to Kobayashi. We'll find out what the injury time's going to be shortly. Celtic will dust themselves down. They're at home to St Mirren next week.
Oh, I'm looking for now, Liam, as the Rangers announcer, to say man of the match, Sakala.
Looking forward to that, I must admit. Here comes the injury time. Rangers have a man down over there. Is it Yilmaz?
He's played well.
4 minutes of stoppage time. and into the first of them. 3-0 Rangers. See Scott Arfield there, John, now in the twilight of his career, if you like, and you've known him, well, when did you first meet Scott? How old would he have been?
As a 15-year-old kid when we signed him for Falkirk. He's had a magnificent career. One of these guys, Liam, that deserves everything he gets out of football, because he's gave it everything he's got. And it looks like it might be his last year at Rangers, so I don't know what he's got off his sleeve, but I'll give him a call and talk to him, try and find out.
Yeah, he's not had nearly as many starts as he wants this season. As Celtic come forward with Maida, would just be consolation. Maida's ball in is cut out by Shooter, and out it goes for a throw-in on this near side to Celtic. Yeah, this would be a rare blank for Celtic if they can't find a consolation goal here in injury time. Turnbull on the spin against Arfield on this near side, finds Hatate, couldn't quite get it back to Maida. Now it's Lowry just losing out in the midfield, and it pops out to Carl Starfelt, who plays it to his right for Ralston, and out to Haksabanovic down the line for Turnbull. Gets the early ball in, but Rory McCrory holds on, and it stays Rangers 3, Celtic 0 here at Ibrox in the closing stages.
Yeah, Rangers just going to look to see the clock there, run the clock down now. A couple of minutes left. It's been a wonderful day for them, like you say. It's been their day. It's been Celtic's season. There's no doubt about that. But it's something that the Rangers fans can sing about towards the end of this, and maybe give them that little bit of hope that next year will be better.
Well, Nagy gets away from Bernabei in the Celtic half. He almost got it through to Lovelace. It's cut out. Celtic give it back. McGregor to Ralston. Kobayashi out to Bernabei on this near side. Up the line for Maida. Tavernier's challenge. The ref didn't like it. Free kick on this near side. Well, there's not too many early departers today from inside Ibrox. It was a lot quieter when the game was in the balance at this point last Sunday. But they want to acclaim the players for the performance today, and perhaps just have that sitting in their mind going into next season when they do battle with Celtic again. Starfelt looks up and rolls it out to Ralston on the far side.
This has been a strange game for me, Liam, in terms of I felt Celtic, especially in the first half, really played some real nice football. You can tell with the stats of the possession, and yet Rangers have done a number on them.
And again, you said it right at the start, goals change games.
Yeah.
They had that goal, they had something to hold on to. They didn't need to really press and chase and go and ask questions for the goal. They could just kind of find their moments and take their time. And what it was in this game, and a lot of it was for these transition moments, with Celtic being a little bit sloppy in possession, Rangers pressing, being organised really, really well, being aggressive and having chances to go and get the second and third, which they've went and done. And it's turned out a comfortable day. At the office, Robbie McCrory, maybe one or two good saves over the course of one fantastic save, but not really too much else to do.
The one from O'Reilly was magnificent. It came at that point in the game. If Celtic got it back to 2-1, they would have been all over it. Kobayashi, we're deep into the final minute of the 4 that were added, with Rangers leading 3-0. Turnbull finds Maida under pressure from Tavernier, and back comes Raskan as well. He's impressed today too. Kobayashi almost lost out to Lovelace. It breaks Starfelt's way, and he passes it back to his goalkeeper.
Raskin's actually been really impressive since he's came to the club. I think him, both and Campbell said it often enough now. There've been 2 very good signings in January, and something to build on for the summer.
It's all over. Victory for Rangers in the final derby of the season. Ange Postecoglou and Michael Beale shake hands down below us. The players do likewise on the pitch. An inspired Rangers performance. Todd Cantwell giving them an early lead after Joe Hart had parried the Lundstrom effort before the second arrived from the head of John Souttar, who scored the winner for Hearts in Ange Postecoglou's first league game as Celtic manager. He bulleted home the Tavernier corner to make it 2-0 before the interval. Celtic had their chances. Oh Hyun-Gyu hit the post early on, just after that opener for Rangers actually. Then in the second, Matt O'Reilly spurning their best chance, but it was as much to do with Robbie McCrory's excellent save. Joe Hart made a couple of good saves himself. This could have been a bigger scoreline than the 3 it ended up being, before Fashion Sakala rounded Joe Hart, having pilfered it from Carl Starfelt. and he slid it home into the empty net to ensure that Rangers would pick up all 3 points this afternoon. They knew the league was gone. It was gone last Sunday for them. They lost the League Cup final to Celtic. They lost the Scottish Cup final to Celtic. They lost the league to Celtic. And they were the winners on the day. For the champions, their long unbeaten run, 34 domestic matches coming into this, has gone. They'd only lost 1 out of 66 league games. It's 2 in 67 now. And they've also failed to score in a game for the first time since RB Leipzig in the Champions League on the 11th of October. 34 games in succession they'd scored in. And in the vast majority of those, they'd scored more than once. But they'd no answer to Rangers today. They were at it from the off, were the hosts. Celtic struggled throughout. So 3 points to Rangers, who next go to Hibs at Easter Road. Celtic will have to come again as they continue their build-up to the Scottish Cup final as they chase that treble. It finishes here with Rangers winning the battle, and Celtic have already won the war. Rangers 3, the back-to-back champion Celtic 0.